Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tardis Zone live on this Monday evening. Welcome. We've got lots and lots to get through. I do have a video, obviously in the works. I'm just waiting on it to be monetized, and I will throw it up. And it's about the Christmas special. There's been an interview with Nick Briggs, so I have that cooking. And it will be up later on. I was hoping to have it up before I start this stream, but for some weird reason, YouTube say it takes 20 minutes to monetize a video, but with me, it seems to be a bit longer. So I'm still waiting 2 hours later for this video to pass for the ads and stuff. It's a 23-minute long video about the Christmas special, so check that out. Right, let's get straight into it. So we have a Doctor Who fan that claims that William Hartnell shouldn't be given any suggestions because clearly he didn't understand canon, and he obviously didn't watch the show before William Hartnell. Yes, you've heard me correct. There's a Doctor Who fan out there that has criticized William Hartnell because apparently he made a suggestion about a spin-off, apparently about the Doctor's son, and because he made that suggestion, apparently, he doesn't understand the show because he didn't understand canon. I will put the tweet up. I'm going to hide the gobshite's face because I don't want to embarrass him any more than he's being embarrassed. But imagine not knowing, claiming to be a Doctor Who fan, and not knowing that William Hartnell was actually the fourth Doctor and that canon was actually being established during his era. So the fact that he actually gave a suggestion would be normal with the actor and would actually, they would have listened to him back in the day because they were still only learning the show. So it's ridiculous, these people. And this tweet, listen, I've been throwing up a few tweets lately, dumb tweets from dumb fans, but this has to be the dumbest. This has to be the dumbest tweet that I've ever actually seen in my life. This person is so dumb that I'm actually trying to figure out whether they were dropped on their head. Also, we'll get into a bit more detail on that now in a minute, and I will show you the tweet. But also, so-called Star Wars fans have decided to attack Gina, if I'm pronouncing her second name right, Carano, who is in the Mandalorian, all because she won't use pronouns in her on her Twitter handle. She has been accused of transphobia, homophobia, you name it, every phobe that you can think of. This woman, I put up a video last night. If you haven't watched it, I will suggest that you do. You will see all the vile tweets that was sent to this woman. Now I have, because YouTube are dickheads. You think they would let us expose idiots like this, but unfortunately they don't. So I had to, if I had my way, I even said it in the video, if I had my way, I would show you all these people's names, to be honest with you. Every single one of them vile. They're calling her fat, ugly, you name it, all the things that you could think of, the vile stuff that would come out of their mouths. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Also, big news from the BBC, and people hoping that the BBC might change course. It doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon because we've had another high-profile sacking or firing, if you will. Sue Barker, who has presented the show Question of Sport, which I have watched, by the way. Now, I have to admit, I haven't watched the last couple of years, but this was a show that I watched. Now, the reason the BBC have given this because they wanted to reach to a younger audience. They clearly don't understand the audience because Question of Sport, young people don't want to be sitting down watching a quiz show about sport, right? It's for the older generation, whether they like it or not, it is. And I know BBC are trying to drag themselves into the 24th century and they want to attract younger audiences. You could do that. You don't have to get rid of well-established shows that people like me used to watch, or people my age group still watch to this day. You're basically sacrificing your core audience to bring in a younger audience, and it's disgraceful. But here's the thing. Well, I'm not giving out that fact that she's being sacked and replaced, right? It's who she's going to be replaced by is the problem I have. It looks like the BBC are not going to stop with the diversion and inclusion strategy under Tim Davie. it looks like that they'll continue to go down the same route, because Sue Barker apparently is going to be replaced by someone that isn't white, basically. So BBC are racist. They've already gotten rid of Neil, what's his name, that host. I don't know his second name. They got rid of that man. They got rid of Sue Barker, now Question the Sport. And also, these people are all over 60 as well. So BBC seems to be ageist as well. They seem to be getting rid of a lot of their older presenters. And Sue Barker is another casualty. Now, how do we know she was sacked? Because Sue Barker herself has decided to come out and say something. She said she would never have left Question of Sport voluntarily. She loved being on the show. And you have Tuffers there as one of the team captains. I forget what's his name, something Dawson, I think is the other team captain. I haven't watched it in a while, so he's a rugby player anyway. They got the team captains. It's been going for 24 years or something. So no, she's been presenter for 24 years. The show's been going on for decades, but she's been the longest serving presenter, and they've decided to tough her out to replace her with the diversity and inclusion hires. And I'm going to say it because that's exactly what it is. It's not me being racist. That is a fact. That's what they're doing. They're replacing older presenters and they're bringing in people that aren't necessarily white. If that's not racist, I don't know what is, right? But that's what the BBC is doing. So for people out there like myself that when Tim Davie was announced, we were happy because we thought there was going to be changes. Listen, I don't think we're going to get the changes that we all think we're going to get. And I don't think Tim Davie is going to shy away from the inclusion and strategy agenda that they have. I think they're going to continue. And I don't think, Lee made the point, problem being, he said that, Tim Davie going in, but does he have teeth? Well, so far, and I'm just looking at the evidence in front of me, so far, I would have to say no. I would have to say that this looks like it's all smoke and mirrors. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to make much changes. Now, he can implement stuff, but you can already see that he's still going along with this strategy and the diversity, inclusion, feckin' crap, right? So, and by the way, I'm not saying that they shouldn't hire people that aren't white to the BBC, right? Yeah, hire them if they've got the talent. If they've got the talent and they deserve the job, do it. I'm sick of this. They're replacing all these old Sue Barker, right? I remember at the time, there was a bit of controversy, obviously, when Sue Barker took over at the time, because, back in those days, because of the time that we were in, it was, there was different views on what kind of shows women should present. But Sue Barker broke that mold. She broke it. She made the show her own. And you know what? All I've ever known is Sue Barker in a Question of Sport. So to see her go like this is to be dumped unceremoniously. And they have said to her, don't worry, we're dumping you from a Question of Sport, but we're going to keep you the face of Wimbledon. As if that's going to, soften the blow. We're not getting rid of you for Wimbledon, so you don't have to worry about your Wimbledon job. But we're getting rid of you for Question of Sport because we have ideas to bring in young people who don't even watch our show, by the way. That's the thing. I'm not saying young people don't watch Question of Sport, but the majority of their audience would be over 30 years of age. They'd be in the 40 age group, I'd say. Late 30s, early 40s. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I feel sorry for her. She's an ex-tennis pro. She dated Cliff Richard back in the day. I know a lot about Sue Barker. I followed Sue Barker's career, and this is. I'm really annoyed. A lot of people give out to me and say, you don't like women in roles and all this. Not true. Not true. Again, if you've got the talent and you deserve it, and you got there on merit, you deserve, you know what I mean? And Sue Barker did. Right, I just don't see, listen, right now, I just don't see BBC changing with Tim Davie yet. And it is age discrimination. It is, Matthew. It's ageism. They're replacing older presenters. That's the second one now. What's that big Andrew Neil? That's the fella I was talking about. That presenter, sure, they got rid of him as well. And how old is he? He's over 50. I'd say he's over 50 anyway, isn't he? Nearly 60. So there does seem to be a bit of ageist going on with the BBC. And it's disgraceful. It's disgraceful. And if you haven't watched me, Sue Barker, read the article, because she is quoted in it, and she's saying that she wouldn't have left this. She loves the show, and you can see she's devastated. She is absolutely devastated. You know what? I'm so annoyed about this one that I actually feel like I've only ever, as I said, during the time of Series 12, when we had that controversy, I did send BBC a few emails because I was angry. But I'm so angry about this that I feel like writing another email, say, how dare you for sacking Sue Barker, and she must be reinstated. Right? They talk about, right, here's the thing though. You get people in the Doctor Who fandom saying that women should be given more of a chance, and women should should be put in more predominant roles, more. Well, they're sacking Sue Barker. Where's the outrage? Where's the outrage? Nobody's actually complaining about Sue Barker losing her job. No, but if it was precious Jodie Whittaker, you'd be all up in there, wouldn't you? Giving out about the BBC, right? BBC are replacing a woman, and you know what? They'll probably replace her with a man, and I disagree. Right? Question of sport is Sue Barker. As far as I'm concerned, she stays there until she's no longer able to do it. As far as I'm concerned. If they have to wheel her out in a bloody wheelchair and she can still talk and still ask the questions and have a bit of banter, she stays on the job because she's the talent. She's got the talent for it. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous carry on from the BBC. And I'm actually worried. Because we were hoping that this man would come in and clear shop. But, they've already reached their targets, by the way. You had June come out, who was the head of diversity for BBC, by the way. Oh, by the way, the person that's head of diversity and inclusion for the BBC is a conspiracy theorist. I've been slated on Twitter for being a bit of a conspiracy theorist because I said that there's an active paedophile ring in Hollywood. And apparently I'm a conspiracy theorist because, I believe that, even though we all know that there is, we've all heard of the Epstein case, and we've heard of all the other stuff, Pizzagate, all of that other stuff, right? And they're trying to tell me that there is no paedophile ring. Listen, Hollywood has been infected for decades now with it. It's not a conspiracy. It's fact, you moron. Right, let's go back to that stupid message. Right? Because I have to show you how dumb these Doctor Who fans are. Now, as I said, because I want to save the person from any more embarrassment, I have covered their name, right? But this is supposed to be a Doctor Who fan, right? This is supposed to be someone that actually knows the show, apparently. So, for anybody that's just joined me late, William Hartnell has gotten a little bit of stick on Twitter. Some Twitter person decided to pull up a tweet about William Hartnell, which I'm about to show you now. I'll get it up, actually. I'm about to show you, and I'm going to read it out to you. And listen very carefully to. You'll see the tweet on the screen, but this is supposed to be a Doctor Who fan, by the way. And I say supposed to be because you're clearly not a fan if you don't know that William Hartnell was the first Doctor, you moron. Yeah. So William Hartnell apparently, during his run as the Doctor, even though he was the first, apparently he didn't understand canon because he suggested that the BBC should do a show about the Doctor's son do a spin-off. Now, this tweeter clearly hasn't watched William Hartnell or doesn't know the history of the show, because if they did, they would know that they're actually talking out of their asses, because William Hartnell was the first Doctor. But I'm going to read this tweet to you because this is so funny. Oh, this is so funny. And yeah, I'm having a laugh at someone's expense here because they're that tick. So William Hartnell actually suggested the son of the Doctor Who has an idea for a television program. Did the man have no understanding of the value of canon? An insult to the intelligence of the audience. Your intelligence is, I'd argue that you actually have intelligence. I bet he didn't even, this is the part that gets me. I bet he hadn't even watched Doctor Who before he played the part. I'll read that again. I bet he hadn't even watched Doctor Who before he played the part. He was the first Doctor, you moron. And I would question your intelligence if you don't know that William Hartnell was the first Doctor. By the way, as the show was in its early conception, you moron, he could make any suggestions that he wanted because BBC were still learning. They were still honing the show. They didn't know, as you can see from the classic era, the eras are completely different. I mean, Pertwee to Baker, you know, there's definitely clearly, you can see it. Every era is slightly different. They put their own take on it. But to say and suggest that William Hartnell doesn't understand canon because, you know, he played the first Doctor and you thought that the Doctor Who was around before he actually took the role, it just goes to show how stupid you all are. You're morons. And I'll say it again, you're a moron for saying that. William Hartnell, as I said, as the actor playing the role, he had a lot of ideas. We even seen it in the movie when they did the movie. He had ideas. So, of course, he would have went to the BBC and suggested something. And, of course, they said no because it never happened. But that doesn't mean that he doesn't understand canon, you moron, because there was no Doctors before him. How did we get so stupid as a fandom? Seriously. How did we get so stupid as a fandom? Imagine not knowing that William Hartnell was actually the first Doctor. And then they wonder why we give out. And then we got another idiot. So apparently there's another idiot out there that wants Rassilon to become a woman. Or, yeah, a woman. It's either Rassilon. Yeah, it was Rassilon. You want Rassilon to become a woman because it'll piss us all off. It's not got to do with the fact, you know, with character development or character or anything like that. They just wanted to piss us off. So these ardent fans, they never will be fans of this show. They're only interested in trying to rile up and upset the fandom, the real fandom. And, you know, I'm not going to call them J-bots anymore. I've got a name, a new term for them. I'm going to call them morons because that's what they are. And when you have morons like that coming out with suggestions that William Hartnell should keep his mouth shut because he doesn't understand canon, even though he was the first man to play the role, you can see that the intelligence of the other side isn't great. And I'd question your intelligence. You questioned the audience intelligence. Well, I definitely question your intelligence because you definitely aren't a smart cookie if you actually don't know that William Hartnell was the first Doctor. I mean, Jesus. Even the newest fans would know. Now, I have to do something because my computer is acting up. I have to just give me a second. I have to refresh. Now, we're back. Sorry about that. So the chat froze, so I wanted to make sure that I could see what you are all saying, because I know you will all have thoughts on this, But again, there you go. As I said, imagine that. Imagine not knowing the show and actually, and you know what the funny thing about this is though, right? And it's not even the fact that he wrote it, right? It's the fact that it actually got 2 retweets and 13 likes. The 13 people in this fandom haven't got a clue that William Hartnell was the first Doctor. So yeah, no, that poster is taking the pee out of people who complain about St. Jodie for not watching the show or understanding canon. Well, it doesn't matter. He shouldn't use William Hartnell. And the fact that he's used William Hartnell to try get a point across, and in that way, just goes to show you how pathetic they are. They shouldn't be using William Hartnell to get a point across. Just because there's fans out there that like this area. Listen, you not morons need to understand, right? You aren't the fandom, right? And the fandom has already proved it because 7 million of them walked away. There's only 3 million of you idiots left, right? And do you think there's going to be 3 million of you morons by the time the festive special comes along? No, not a chance. This show is done, and it's thanks to all you idiots and gobshites like this that they pull up posts like this, set up accounts, and do all sorts just to rile us fans up, right? They've no respect for the fandom. They've no respect for the show. They've no respect for former Doctors. They don't care, right? They never have cared. All they're interested in is diversity and inclusion and whatever identity politics that they want to play around with, right? Or whatever agenda, whatever it is, if it's climate change or picking your nose time or whatever, right? Sick of it all, right? Doctor Who's a sci-fi show. Get back to making it a fucking sci-fi show or cancel the bloody thing. So, I wasn't going to do this because I did say I was going to cancel all panels. But because I do have a video coming for you later on, and because I was supposed to get Lee on, there is a problem with the lower decks, by the way. I went to watch the 2 episodes that I needed to catch up on, and unfortunately the link that was sent to me is a bad one, so I have to wait until Rabbi comes out of hibernation to try get me hands on those, because I can't get them over here. I've tried, trust me, can't get them. So Rabbi has been the source of me getting lower decks. So as soon as Rabbi, I let Rabbi know for starters, and he gets back in touch with me, I will, me and Lee will still be doing lower decks because I feel a bit bad. But I am going to bring him on now if he wants to come on now, along with one other guest. So if there's anybody that hasn't been on before, right? So because Lee has been on before, so I'm going to bring on Lee. But if there's anybody in the chat that hasn't been on before, right, that would like to come on with Lee, let me know in the chat right now, and you can come on, and I'll put the link in the chat. Now, I'm only having 2 people on with me because the panels are getting too big, and everybody's talking over everybody. It's all I'm just saying is I'm gonna just bring on, as I said, 2. Make it a small little panel. We don't need 10, 12 people on anyway to discuss this anyway. Let me see. Philadelphia Whovian makes an excellent point that weaponizing a character's gender or race to get a section of fans is extremely insulting to the ethnic or gender group being exploited. I agree. This is exploitation. Disney do it. Hollywood does it. And listen, nobody cares. And this is what we've been trying to tell everybody. Do you actually think BBC give a crap about us all? Right? Do you think they give a crap about straight people, gay people, bi people, trans people? No. All they care about is taking your money. Right? They don't care. Right? So they'll pander to you. They'll give you what you want, but there's no substance. I mean, Chris Chibnall has treated the LGBTQ plus, there's a couple of I's and A's in there now. Listen, they keep adding letters, so I'm just going to say what I know it as before they start adding letters. So I'm just going to say LGBTQ plus So, you know, you look at the way he's treated characters like that. He's had two. I think he's had one gay character and one lesbian on the show, and he's killed them off. He killed one off within 20 seconds, and he killed the other one off within 2 minutes. He does not do proper representation, and those characters are not reoccurring characters either. So it's only pandering, right? Whereas when RTD did it, he brought in Captain Jack, but Captain Jack came back and he built up on his character. And that's why everybody in this fandom absolutely loves Captain Jack. You know, he's a member of that community that's in Doctor Who, and we love him because he was written properly and he represents the community very, very well. Chris Chibnall doesn't, and he never does. And you know what? It actually saddens me because I get attacked for being transphobic and all of this other rubbish. And what they don't realize is that I'm actually fighting for you guys. I'm on your side, right? As I said, if you're a person old enough to make the decision that you want to change gender, who am I to tell you that you can't? I can't tell you. It's not my choice. It's your choices. But and if you ask me to identify you as the gender that you've decided to assign yourself, that's fine. I'll do that as well. But I will not, like everybody else in society, we will not be forced. And that brings me nicely into the Gina stuff with the Star Wars fans. So because she wouldn't actually put up, I'll actually show you. I don't think Gina would mind me showing her tweets because we're obviously talking in defense of her. By the way, she did write up a tweet last night, and I retweeted her tweet agreeing with her and then saying, but they want to divide us. And she actually liked it. So that actually made my day because I have become a bit of a Star Wars fan as such. Well, a Mandalorian fan. Right, I'm not going to say Star Wars fan because that would be insulting to the Star Wars fans that are actually out there. Don't get me wrong, I've watched all the movies. I grew up with them. They were always on in the house, but I was more of a Trekkie. That was my thing. But Mandalorian has made me fall in love with Star Wars. I love it. I'm a non-Star Wars fan, and I can say that. I don't mind saying that, but I love it. I actually think it was very well done. Yes, I will agree. It was slow in some parts. I didn't like the fact that they kind of showed the Mandalorian's face. That kind of threw me off a little bit. But other than that, it was a solid start. You know, you can see Favreau and his team are finding their feet. They're trying to find, like with Orville season 1. Look at Orville season 1, how uneven that was. And then look by series 2. You could see then that they've matured. You can see then that they have confidence. It's the same with the Mandalorian. I could see that you could see that they're they're gaining confidence. So when season 2 comes around, I'm geared up for it anyway. But I have to say, Gina, and Cheryl will tell you this. It's actually weird that she's getting stick because I said to Cheryl, she's one of my favorite characters in this show. I was even telling Cheryl that she was a MMA star and stuff, and I love her. She was also in Deadpool, wasn't she? Same woman, Deadpool. So I mean, look, Jesus, man, she's brilliant. And the stick that she's getting, and I think people forget she is a woman. And listen, I'm not saying that to be sexist or anything, right? We all get a bit of grief on social media, and it all gets us down. But to be the grown men going after this woman as well, it's wrong. It's wrong because she won't. I'm going to show you the reason why she's getting all this stick, right? And you won't believe it. You won't believe it. Right? It's funny. It's funny because if this is what it takes to trigger this side, well then they're always going to be triggered because people are always going to have their opinions and people are not going to be forced. You know, as I said, if if people are if there's trans people out there and they want me or anybody else out there to identify them as that gender and to call them by whatever name they've chosen, fine, 100%, absolutely. The only issue that I have with trans issues is got to do with kids, but I think I've made that quite clear on this channel several times. But I have been still called a transphobe, and I'm not. I really think that everybody should live and let live. And if you're an adult and you make that choice, you should be allowed. Nobody should tell you what to do. You're a human being at the end of the day, and you've got your own mind and your own piece of it. You know what I mean? You could do whatever you want. But as I said, nobody in society is going to be forced. And this is what's happening. You get these radicals, and this is what these are. Even Gina said herself, you know, she knows that this isn't a true representation of the trans community, that this is all these virtual signal gobshites, you know, people like Ben Cook in the Doctor Who fandom that virtual signal all the time. Well, they've got them in the Star Wars fandom as well. And that's all they are. They're just idiots. They're not Star Wars fans, by the way. I wouldn't even call them Star Wars fans, because Star Wars fans would not behave in that manner. To be honest, it's quite funny that they keep saying the Star Wars fans and stuff are toxic, and none of these fandoms were toxic until they all came along. Isn't it funny? Same with Doctor Who. It's like, you know, apparently the fandom was toxic. The fandom wasn't toxic. Everybody could tell you the fandom wasn't toxic until Miss Whittaker and Chris Chibnall were hired, and then their fans commit. That's when the fandom became toxic. Oh, we can hear Ted through the window. Right. So this is the tweet that she put up. She said, "They're mad because I won't put pronouns in my bio to show my support for trans lives. After months of harassing me in every way, I decided to put 3 very controversial words in my bio. Beep, bop, bop." I actually put that in the video as the hashtag. "I'm not against trans lives at all. They need to find less abusive representation." And that's exactly what it is. The people that are representing trans people are not true representation of the trans community. And these people are actually damaging the trans community for their behavior. It's the same with the rest of them in the LGBTQ plus community. These radicals are actually starting to turn the public against these people, and that's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. These radicals need to be stopped. They need to be stopped, and they need to be told to shut the fuck up, right? They're doing too much damage, right? If trans people want to talk, if gay people want to talk, if lesbian people want to talk, bisexual people want to talk, or whatever, do it yourself. Don't be getting these people to represent you. But I'm being honest with you. I've said this a long time ago. The LGBTQ plus community needs to break away from all of these radicals. You need to, because the public doesn't hate trans people. The public doesn't hate anybody for whoever they want to be. The people hate the people that are fighting on his behalf because they're radical, and they will try and cancel anybody and resort to this behavior, right? So let's have a look. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. Sorry, that's William Hartnell. I actually have to back out, don't I? I'll have to back out. Yeah. So this was our second response. So she says, "I don't think trans people would like all of you trying to force a woman to put something in her bio through harassment and name calling every day for months. Such a racist, transphobe bitch weirdo. I hope you die. I hope you lose your career. You're fat. You're ugly." And this is what has been. She's just giving you a brief rundown. If you haven't seen my video, I have those tweets. I've put them up. Go and check out my video later on. You just have to check and share it everywhere. Show support for Gina. Okay, this is unbelievable. This is these radicals need to be stopped. Right, they're damaging the communities that they say that they're representing, and they're turning the public. And Lee, I'm going to bring Lee on in a minute, but Lee will tell you this, right? Because Lee spoke about this briefly. The public is starting to turn, right? There's got and Lee is afraid, as a gay man himself, he's afraid that there'll be repercussions of this. You know, it might become the norm again for back in the day when they used to bash people. I won't say the actual word, but you know what I'm saying. When they used to bash people because they were attracted to the same sex, right? We're going to end up going back to those times, right? Because there's idiots out there, right? There's idiots out there that aren't as intelligent as me and you that will take all of this that the radicals are and go out and start beating people up. Why is me screen every time I put a bloody tweet? What's going on? StreamYard, you want to get your act together. I'm paying for this crap. This is not YouTube. This is a StreamYard issue. Sort it out. If we're going to be able to share on your platform, the chat shouldn't be freezing. Right, I'm back. I'm back. Am I back? Right, am I back? Right, there's something wrong with this StreamYard. I'm going to actually write to them because I've paid for this and I want it fixed. I'm not paying 300 and something euro for something that's not working properly when everybody else is having the same issues that don't pay for it. Fuck that crap. Better sort it out. Right, so I'm back. My best friend is bisexual and I still care for her as a sister. I hope I do accept her for what or who she is. Exactly. That's what it and the general public do. It's these radicals that think everybody, it's because of these radicals that a lot of people start questioning stuff, right? Now, as I said, I'm going to bring Lee on, but if anybody else wants to come on with him, let me know right now if you're new. If not, actually, Mr. Hyde podcast, you're in the chat. I haven't had you on I don't think I have had it. I think I've had you on once or twice. If you want to come on, you can come on, Mr. Hyde. I'd love to have you on. Yeah, so I've been showing support for Gina. Obviously, as I said, she liked one of my tweets that actually put a smile on my face. As a Mandalorian fan, Mando, as they call him in the show. I'm being honest, I am a fan. I love it. And Baby Yoda, or the child, thanks be to God, is not a gimmick. There's actually something going on with that child, and I can't wait to see what happens. Is that what it is? Yeah, it is StreamYard. I'm going to get in touch with them. No way. Listen, they're very good, though. I will say, if you do come up with a complaint, they will try sort it out. So I'm not going to give out about them too much because let's be honest, in fairness, though, I have paid for it and I've had little issues. I haven't had big issues with it. So I've only had the small. I would the Tardis on YouTube channel, but I'm currently at work. No problem. Okay. Matthew Pounder, I see you're in the chat as well. Would you like to come on? Clobbering Times is here as well. If you would like to come on, I'm just picking out people that I haven't really had on. Terrence is here as well. If you would like to come on, you're more than welcome. Anybody that hasn't been on, basically come on with Lee. We'll talk for about 30 minutes and then we'll call it a day. Remember, I do have a video coming up for you a little bit later on. It's obviously Nicholas Briggs did an interview, and they're talking about the festive special on how it's going to be a gift to us fans. The gift that us fans would want is Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall's announcement. Nothing else short of that will we accept. So it won't be a gift. It's going to be an absolute nightmare. Clobbering Times says he's game. Right, do me a favour, Clobbering Times. We follow each other on Twitter, yeah? Send me your email address and I will send you the link. Lee, I'm about to send you that link now, buddy. We might as well bring someone. Do you know, I was actually thinking, you know, Mondays is kind of, Wednesdays is a bit of a dead day, but I'm coming up with something with Cheryl on that day. But Mondays is a bit of a, I will still do the few videos, but Monday I might have short, I might bring on a couple of guests, but not big panels like we used to, because as I said, it is starting to get a bit messy. And I'll have a couple of, I'm trying to get as many videos out for you as possible as well. So as I said, you will see a lot more videos of me. I've already got one cooking and I've got plans for a few more as well. We'll be busy. We got CJ Campbell here. The time has come for clobbering, says Matthew Pounder. Yeah, but listen, mate, I've been asking you since last year now, right? So it has to happen. It has to happen because listen, we were, as I keep telling people don't know this, me and Matthew go back away. When I first met Matthew, believe it or not, and this shows how mature we can be. Me and Matthew didn't get off on the best footing, if I remember correctly, and we have become friends. Now, obviously, he hasn't been as active lately, and I don't blame him, you know, especially after the way Series 11 went. But he's been in the chat a lot lately. So listen, you know, we used to have our little battles on Facebook, and then we joined forces and we take them all on. So I'd love to see you on here, and the both of us talking, because it has been a while. And you know, there's some people out there that I'm very, very fond of. I consider close friends, and Matthew is one of them. He's been, as I said, he's been with me from the very beginning, just like Daniel. And I'm grateful. There is a lot that have stuck with me, and you know, it does mean a lot, you know, because you know, I have been quite controversial, you know, and you know, some people have left and not come back, and some of you have decided to stay. Oh, by the way, I will mention it on the channel just in case they're listening. So, believe it or not, I got an invite to come on a podcast. Universal Who is doing a podcast and has actually asked me to come on. So I've agreed. So yeah, I'll let you know when that's happening. But they have said, I know we don't see eye to eye, but wondering if you'd like to come on a podcast to discuss this era civilly with me and my podcasting partner later on in the week. And I've agreed. So I just have to set it up and I'll be there. I'm going to see if I can actually bring on, because if there's two of them, I think it will be unfair if I'm just on my own. I'd be bringing someone else on. I'll have to ask that as well. But I don't mind. I will do it on my own. I mean, I don't, you know, we're only talking about the series. I mean, if they try make, I know Universal Who won't try make it personal. They will try keep the topic, but you know, it'll be their followers that'll be listening to them that will have a pop. Will they be wanting to have a pop? But I've agreed to do it because look, at the end of the day, right? We invite the other side to never come on. So I'm just trying to prove to this side that when we get invited on, I'm not going to chicken out, which I'm not. So I'm going to be on Universal Who's podcast. So all you J-bots that are listening, or morons as I call you, don't forget to check out Universal Who. He's a friend of yours. So don't forget to check out his podcast because I'm going to be on it. Yes, Noel from the Tardis is going to be on the podcast. Right, let's see if Clobbering Times, he has. Right, hey there, it is the right account, buddy. There you go, I've sent you a message. Right, we'll bring him on. He's got a problem, but he's a human being. It's a problem, but he's definitely going to have a lot to say now. I can feel it. I can feel it. I'm not going to get a word in edgeways, so I have been speaking for 46 minutes, so it's been nice knowing you all. But I hand the channel over to Lee now.
Hello.
How are you, me old flower?
Oh, I just want to bash my head against the wall repeatedly.
Right, where do you want to start, though? Where do you want to start? Because I did cover a lot. So Sue Barker being fired by Question the Spark. We got the Gina nonsense going on Twitter. And then we've also, as I said, the fan. Now, apparently is a joke post, but it doesn't matter. The fact that they're using William Hartnell to get back
they're just trolling.
Yeah,
that's all they ever do. They just spend their time. They spend all their life on Twitter being sarcastic. That's all they do. That's their entire remit for their entire presence online. That's their gift of creativity that they have been landed with. It's just pathetic. It really is. They think they're being hilarious.
I know.
It's the height of humor. It isn't, but it's quite amusing to watch for all the wrong reasons.
It's actually pathetic. That's the only word that I can use to describe.
You can almost imagine. You remember? What was that? Oh God.
What?
That Kevin and
Perry go large.
Kevin and Perry, yeah.
Yeah.
You can imagine. Yeah. That's them. That's them with the hair down one side, looking really deep and meaningful. Like, I hate you.
You can't slag because, believe it or not, I haven't had a haircut since the lockdown.
My
hair is actually like that, so I can't say that. It's the first time I've had long hair, right? Seriously.
See, in my head, I look like Brett Anderson from Suede.
Yeah.
But, in reality, I look like, Herman the Monster or something.
The hair, it never came down the side of my face or over my eyes. So even last night when we were watching TV, Cheryl was actually fixing my hair because it kept coming.
She turned around and go, "You don't understand me."
And I was like, what the hell? Yes.
You use the wrong pronoun. I hate you.
Yeah. Hold on now. Clobbering Times, you have actually reached me on the right account on Twitter. I've just replied back to you there. If you want to give me your email and we'll get you on, pal.
Yeah.
Right, but but I am pissed off with Sue Barker being sacked. And I'm not just saying that people will be surprised. I do watch Question. Well, I haven't watched in the last couple of years, but up until the last 2 years, because obviously I'd met Cheryl, got married and stuff like that, and then we start watching our own programs. And Question of Sport is on a time where Cheryl wouldn't sit down and watch sports programs, that sort of way. So I never bothered serious linking it, and I've missed.
I'm pretty pissed off as well, actually.
But Sue Barker, come on.
I'm pretty pissed off as well. I'll tell you why I'm pretty pissed off.
Why are you pissed?
Because getting the Joker smile grimace like that costs a lot of money. To have that kind of surgery to look like Jack Nicholson in Batman. I mean, it's like that costs a lot of money.
Oh, for God's sake! I knew you were going to say that about but in fact,
she does have the Jack Nicholson.
In all joking aside, right? I said it earlier when she did force to take up the mantle. There was a bit of controversy, obviously, because back in the day they had a different view on what TV presenters, especially female presenters, what kind of shows they were host. But she hit the ground running. I remember she hit the ground running. This show wouldn't be what it is if it wasn't for Sue Barker. And I think it's an absolute disgrace that after 24 years of service that they've basically said, listen, you're an old hag now. You're not the right kind of diversity hiring. So see you later. Bye.
Yeah, that's it. It's the one, apart from anti-Semitism, the only other acceptable form of ism other than I guess straightism, is ageism. Really, it's so omnipresent. It's ridiculous. I really don't understand. We are in the West the most spoilt bastards there are, and I tell you something. In all other cultures around the world, well, most of all, even places like China, and even the most far-flung and tribal places, you will find that they respect and treat their elderly properly.
Yeah.
I mean, you're considered old if you're 30, in many circles.
Yeah.
Especially in my so-called community, which is a nonsense. There is no
what would they call you? They call you and by the way, not being disrespectful, but they probably call you there's the old gay.
You what?
The old gay. The old gay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a few words.
You're not old, but that's the thing, Lee. You're not old. It's just these kids just think they're more.
Listen, but you're old if you're 25. I mean that's.
Well, then, Jesus, well, then that must make me.
I think it's this youth culture. It's a culture. It's like the youth are venerated with and they're told they're special since they are born. And they think they're special. They're always told you're so talented, you're so clever,
by the way,
you're so beautiful.
Talking about the LGBTQ+,
they think they'll live forever. They won't.
something on Twitter. One of the African nations, I think, has come out against same-sex relationships. Well,
in many African countries, it's illegal or punishable by death.
Illegal, and death,
Yeah,
it's actually really disgusting what happens. And again,
mostly African, either very Christian or very Islamic.
Chris says, if you're 25 years old, that means I'm a geezer. You're not a geezer.
Geezer. All right, geezer.
I haven't heard that word in donkey years.
From a Canadian as well. I
know, I
think it means geese. I think he misspelled geese because I got a lot of Canadian.
Yeah, that would make more sense.
Geese. He's a geezer. He collects geese.
I've sent you the link there, Clobbering Times, and welcome Rachel, disaster area manager, and everybody else that's in the chat. I would go through and name you all, but I'll be here all night.
So this Mandalorian lady.
Yeah. Hold on, we've got Clobbering Times on this as well. So Clobbering Times is here, and I've no big intro because obviously, it's
a clobbering time.
I have to come up with these when I know a guest is coming on. But we'll introduce them, and it's Clobbering Times, and it's a pleasure to have them on the channel. So welcome.
Hello.
Yo.
Oh,
I was surprised there. I was supposed to say it's clobbering time.
It's clobbering time.
Let's clobber things.
Welcome. It's nice to have you.
Thank you
on board. If
My
you're
Blake 7 buddy.
Yes,
if you're 60, you're a codger. Yeah, you're an old codger, David.
I'm not far from 60. So
there you go.
Not far from it.
I'm not far from feeling
life expectancy has increased. Health-wise, we're a lot more healthier. I don't buy into all this. I mean, back in the 1500s, if you're 20, you were old.
My lungs are blacker than a chimney sweep's from the Victorian age. I smoke like a bloody chimney, so I don't think that's true.
Oh no, he was born.
If it's got no salt and sugar in it, I'm not interested.
Listen, Chris wants you to know though that he wasn't born in Canada. He was born in Australia. So crikey, mate. Crikey.
Yeah, it's not geezer. They don't say geezer over there, do they?
Somebody said geezer in Australia,
mate.
Well,
mate.
I'm Methuselah then, if that's all.
What's the other thing they eat? Clobber.
Actually, every time I think of Australia, I think of Steve Irwin. And he's gonna put on an Australian.
Stingray.
I
Sorry,
think
that's
it's Steve Irwin. I think
soon.
Steve Irwin. Listen, I loved Steve Irwin. I know he was criticised over the years, but his love of animals, wild animals, and his
and their love for him got him killed, didn't he?
Well, it did, and you know what the weird thing about that was, though? Apparently, at the time, he had told, before he died, he told his film crew that he actually wanted the footage to be shown, and it was his family. It was obviously his wife that went against his wishes, but that was his wish. His daughter actually, she's I think she's got engaged to be married now. She's grown up really fast. So is the son. But
he did quite well in on the American chat show circuit.
He did. Listen, look, he's one of those people here. But for me, I love Steve Irwin, and it is sad that he has. Every time I do my Australian accent, I think crikey, mate, crocodile, mate. Oh. Yeah, it's him. I use him as a reference.
So like an Irishman with a cold.
Yeah. I hope I did, out of all the accents, I think the Australian one is close enough. Don't ask me to do an American accent. I'll be ran out of even Ireland if I tried that.
But most Americans are Irish, aren't they? Well, there's more Irish in America than there is.
I have a problem with that when people say, "Oh, I'm Irish." I say, "Yeah, were you born in Ireland?" No, but my great granddad was Irish. Well, you're not Irish. You were born in.
Well, my great grandmother was Irish.
Yeah,
from Cork.
Yeah, well, see, you got that there, but when you go great, you're not.
Yeah, but everyone in America is like, any relative in Ireland or anywhere else in Europe is great.
Irish, but I just want to let you Americans know it's not that great, right? It's not that great. So,
are you part Irish, sir?
I wish I knew. I don't know. I'm all over the place. My buddy Latino Slant on with another channel. He tells me I'm Latino. I'm like, look. Wow. I don't know. Well, I'm the last name of Alonzo, so I don't know what I am.
Wow.
I'm confused. I'm just a little white boy.
You're like me. You're a mongrel.
I'm a mongrel. I'm Euro trash.
There's nothing wrong with that anyway. But listen, guys, obviously we're here to speak about what's happening in the fandom. But before you come on Clobbering Times, Lee was actually going to bring up about the Gina carries on Twitter. So, Lee, I'll let you get your point across, and then Clobbering Times, if you want to actually add onto it, because obviously there has been, we've seen it. She's been I didn't know. Now, I have to be honest. I thought this was only happening for the last couple of days.
Oh, it's like the Bill Shatner thing. It's been going on for months.
Yeah, I didn't know that this was going on with her for a month. And listen, as I said last week, we finished The Mandalorian. And I'm not a Star Wars fan, and I always say that because I don't claim to be a Star Wars fan, and I would never claim to be a Star Wars fan. But I do enjoy it. I did watch the original movies. I've watched them all because they were always shown in my mum and dad's house, and even growing up as a kid, my dad was a Star Wars fan.
You were born probably just a little bit too late. Like for me, I was born, but I was around when
I was more of a Trekkie, right? Trekkie was my
I was Empire Strikes Back and I remember seeing Return of the Jedi at the cinema, and I had not all the toys, but most of them.
Yeah. Well, my wife was obviously 10 years older than me, as you all know, which shocked her. There you go. Well, 9, I should say 9, right? So she's 9 years older than me. So obviously she's more aware of all the stuff that was going on with Star Wars than I was. So she's the Star Wars fan. Mm-hmm. And we sat down. I sat through this whole thing with a smile on my face. I have to be right. Here's the thing, right? I get why Disney Star Wars fans are very, let's say, cautious when it comes to The Mandalorian because of what's happened with the main trilogy and the fact that they destroyed most of their characters. But I found this engaging. I found it interesting. It was like a Western in space for me, but no, I actually did. I really, really enjoyed it, and I have to be honest. Cheryl said that she enjoyed it as well. Now we are planning on doing a review, the two of us, to see obviously we will have different opinions because she is the Star Wars fan, so she'd be able to go into a bit more detail of what problems she had with it, if any. But I'm okay with it so far. Yes, I did have a few problems with it. Obviously, I didn't like the fact that Mando's face was revealed. I think after that kind of threw me off a little bit.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
And he just looked like a stick man, someone that you'd actually flick with your finger.
If that's where you want to spend your time.
Yeah, right. So I was like, okay, well, that's not convincing. But other than that, there was a few. I did like the way they did the whole thing where his suit was getting his armor was getting upgraded and stuff. But the child, Baby Yoda, whatever you want to call it,
Yoda,
is not a gimmick.
Baby Yoda, Baby Yoda is life.
Wasn't a gimmick though, and I'm delighted about
Baby
that.
Yoda is life. Anyone who doesn't look at Baby Yoda and just a little bit melts.
Oh,
if you don't melt a little bit, there's something fucking wrong with you.
Episode right at the end where he opens the crib and you just see little Baby Yoda's head popped out. I'm telling you now, if that doesn't get to you, right, your heart just.
I tell you why I love it. It was a practical effect. It wasn't CGI'd.
No.
It was a little like the original Yoda.
Yeah, a real animatronic.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. But back to the Gina business. Go ahead anyway. I mean, as I said,
all I really want to say is like, fine. If that's how you want to behave on Twitter and attack this woman for not using pronouns on her profile and call her a bitch, call her a phobe, call her, wish her dead.
Yeah, fat, ugly.
All this stuff, fat, ugly. I never want to hear a fucking word from you bastards again about calling other people anything again. I don't want to hear you call anyone a misogynist ever again, ever, because you're lying, hypocritical pieces of shit. You're not moral. I'm not claiming to be moral, but I don't fucking try to. You bastards, you do. And you sit on your high horse, sanctimonious, self-unaware little pricks, right? Picking on this woman who gets paid a lot of money, yeah, but she does it by entertaining you, right? Yeah. She throws herself into that role. She has worked hard for that. And she does a great job, okay? And she doesn't do what you buggers do, so therefore you're going to go after her. Well, I'm sorry. Isn't it funny? Like, they come after me because I don't toe the party line, right? They talk about community. Yeah. There is no fucking community. Oh. There is no LGBTQ plus whatever the fuck. There is no community. It's only a select community. If you play ball, if you bend the knee, if you tuck your furlowed lock, right? If you bend over and take it up the bum as a rainbow waving warrior, okay? I mean, I don't subscribe to that. So therefore, I am not welcome. If I was to apply for a job at the BBC right now, I would not get the job, even if I was the most qualified person on the planet to do so, because I wouldn't fit the politics. It's got nothing to do with who you sleep with. It's all to do with this postmodernist bullcrap, this ideology. Okay, when we talk about ideology, we're not just talking about LGBTQ, we're talking about queer theory, we're talking about race theory, we're talking about critical race theory, that is. We're talking about critical theory in general. All schools of the Frankfurt School of postmodernist deconstructionism, and it's bullshit. It's utter bullshit. Okay, it's a cult. You are in a cult. You act like you're in a cult. All of your tweets are the same fucking tweet over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Not a single original thing to say. Just the most hurtful thing you can say because you feel validated to say it because someone isn't performing the way you want them to. She is not a fucking performing monkey. You don't put a fucking coin up her ass and then switch her on and then watch her go, yes, whatever you say. Fuck off. You are inhuman with what you're doing. You dehumanize people, and you do it out of spite. And you do it because everyone's looking. Because that's what you are the performing monkeys. You are the performing monkeys because you only do these things because you want the attention. It's the only reason you put your pronouns on your Twitter accounts is because you want attention.
That's all it is for. Yeah, it is. It's an attention-seeking tool. And then if they have that those pronouns in their bio, it's somehow a sort of a, or what they use it, they weaponize it. Then if you
that woman is going to be, that woman is more a woman than any of you. And I'm even talking to the male feminists because I know you think you want to be one. All right, she is the truth. She is a true, strong, independent woman. Okay, because she is independent. Because she doesn't kowtow to your mental games, and they are mental games. You're suffering serious mental delusions. Seriously, get help and leave the fucking woman alone.
Indeed.
End of.
Well done, Dave. I agree with every single thing. No, you're right. I mean, it's getting ridiculous.
Tired of people kowtowing to these. Listen, I grew up in the 80s and 90s, right? I was hospitalized. I was beaten, all the rest of it. Okay, for just being a gay man, right? Okay, that's it. That's the only reason people need it. Okay.
Yeah, that's what
gay people, trans people, all the rest of it are seriously like the more protected than the fucking Albanian or tiger or something, whatever it is. Okay. So I mean, all this nonsense. Okay, you're creating enemies where there were none. You are making enemies. It's like what she said in her tweet. She said, you need to talk amongst yourselves basically and get better, less abusive representation, because that's how I feel. I feel that people who claim to speak for me
don't, because
I belong tenuously because of who I choose to sleep with, right? Claim to speak for me and my rights when they are putting my life in jeopardy by behaving like cunts. Okay? You people are making my life difficult because I feel every day that goes by, when this goes more and more insane, that you are provoking a response. You love it. You are masochistic for it. I don't want that. You do not speak for me. There is no community. You are deluding yourself.
Yeah.
You are alone right now. You are alone. You are alone. You are not in a mass movement. You're not in a mass group. You're not all waving flags like the last night at the proms, singing YMCA, darling. It's not like that. It isn't. Okay? There is no such thing. A Pride March once a month doesn't cut it. Okay? When I needed help many years ago, and I was facing homelessness, and I turned to my so-called community, right? In fucking Pink Square, whatever, that's Soho, down there, and seeking help. I was refused because I wasn't on drugs, because I wasn't HIV, and because I wasn't trans.
Wow.
So basically, because I
didn't check all the boxes or any of the boxes.
So you weren't the right type.
I wasn't the right type again.
Yeah, exactly. And you've said that before. That's what it is.
From that moment on, I woke up to what it was. And I realized there and then, I am going to stand alone. But I'm not going to make enemies of the majority of the people in this world. Because they are people I love, they're people I know, they're people I respect. And I'm not going to judge them on immaterial, silly nonsense like who you fuck with. Bollocks to that.
I know, shit. It is. It's ridiculous.
As for this trans thing, listen, I have I had a friend who went through the whole process. It came off, gone. And went through the process
Yeah.
and regretted it, and now has an axe wound that wants to heal itself, and dealing with that
That's what
on
I
a day-to-day basis.
Now,
Now,
well.
you want to push this onto kids? You want to push this to schools and universities and to vulnerable people like autistic people?
Yeah.
Get stuffed.
And they don't realize the psychological damage, but not only the psychological damage, those people are actually physically scarred for life as well.
Oh yeah. And not only that, it took 3 weeks. I think 3 weeks to get shitloads. I mean shitloads, like 8 milligrams every few days of female hormones.
Yeah.
It took him 3 years to get a single shot of testosterone once he had decided to stop taking them and to detransition. 3 years. No one wanted to go near him, to touch him. There was all that support that he built up through all those various networks.
They didn't want
that were encouraging him, that were affirming him.
They turned on him.
Gone.
Of course they did. They don't care.
Gone. And they called him true scum, all these things. And then
because he realized he was making a mistake, and he realized that he was being pushed into this.
He said he felt he'd been brainwashed and pushed into it. He was vulnerable and all that. I mean, listen, if you're going to go to the full extent of having the operation, I think there's a case to be had there. And listen, he was not a well man. He could barely walk. But as soon as he had that testosterone shot that took 3 years to get, he was fine. Absolutely fine. It was amazing. It was like a different person because he aged really, really quickly. He could barely walk without stick. His bone, literally, like his cartilage in his joints were like rubber because he couldn't produce any hormones at all. Not even female ones, not male ones, none.
Wow.
I mean, he could have died. I mean, he nearly did. I mean, you know, for all the suicide attempts and all the rest of it as well. You know, I mean, I mean, this is something that they want to push. Listen, I don't care what you do in your private life, how you want to live. I fully support that. Totally. I will call you whatever you want to be called, all the rest of it. I'm totally on board with that. No problem at all. You treat me as I would treat you. That's it. I respect people on a one-to-one basis. I'll take you as I find you. And how you are with me is how I am with you. End of story. I don't care. I really don't care. So if you want to push a life, listen, and I'll say this about the gay lifestyle as well, where it's not publicized, but it's true that there is an epidemic in the UK or within the gay community of syphilis and gonorrhea, super gonorrhea, things like this. Okay, this is going on, and they want to glamorize these lifestyles of suicide, sex and drugs, lots of drugs, syphilis, super gonorrhea. Yeah. I mean, it's all well and good when you get gay marriage and all those equal rights. That's where it should have stopped. Great, got it. No, it was just a foot up for let's say the non-LGB side of things. And there is a group of people, LGB, because we don't see how gender has anything really to do with gay rights or bi or lesbian rights. It's a totally separate thing, and it should be. And I have no problem with them being looked at and dealt with, but not by us. It's not anything really to do with us. It isn't. I don't care what they say. They was, oh well, we were there at the riots and all this kind of no. There was no transgender thing back at those days. It was transvestites.
Yeah.
And drag queens and transsexuals, rudimentary transsexuals from the 70s and 60s and 70s, and the Stonewall riots. there were no transgendered people. There were transsexual people, no doubt, but there were a lot of drag queens and things. And I know the guy who was there, who led the thing, said, you know, he's set up this LGB thing, and he's like correcting these people, and he keeps challenging them, and they keep backing away, like, oh, I'm not going to answer your questions. And again, you know, and here I am. I'm still nearly a month ago, again, a month on from my Twitter suspension for defending Bill Shatner from these crazy people who insist on making him accept that he has to call himself a cis white male.
Yeah.
And I kept saying it's a slur. And all I did was repost the same picture, and it was a bunch of tweets in a picture form, how they use cis as a slur against gay men. I was showing how gay men were being victimized by this thing as a slur, cis. And because I posted it, 3 or 4 times in separate conversations to show how offensive it is, I'm the one who got a month suspension.
A month? Jesus.
I'm still on it. I'm still
That's
at 23, 24 days now, something like that.
Good
Yeah.
Lord. That's insane.
Because I'm the wrong kind of gay. It's just insane.
Oh, I know.
So,
it is.
yeah,
The way
there's
you
your
put it
community
that way,
right there.
Because you're absolutely spot on, and that is exactly the way it is. It's because you are not the right kind of person, as you said, for them to exploit. See, you're smart, Lee. You know, you've got a bit of intelligence about you. Unfortunately, most of these people that are being tricked into this, as you said, a lot of them are vulnerable, they're confused. You know, some, as you said, are in the spectrum of, you know, autism, and they're just...
I'll tell you what it is. There is an elite group, and this was something I was told by my trans friend, my former ex-trans friend. Or it's a weird one, but my detransition friend was that he was put into a safe house with like-minded people who kept affirming and using affirming language, i.e. neuro-linguistic programming, okay, where you repeat affirming words in a specific way, and you imprint that person gradually by saying the same sort of things over and over and over again. And they would have these sort of sessions where if anyone started to show any signs of straying from the party line, they would all sit together in a group and then put that person at the center of the circle and start telling them why they're wrong, which is what is commonly known as a struggle session.
Wow.
Okay, a struggle session where they would put them on the spot and sort of humiliate them in a way to break them down, and then to sort of at the end sort of have a group hug kind of thing, so you're brought back in, so you know your place kind of thing, right? This is what I've been told, okay, by my friend, who I have no reason to disbelieve, okay? He also told me that there were a number of sites that he would go on when he was trans, which were blog sites, okay? So it's members only. And I can't remember if it's one big one or if it's a number of small ones, but said that the kind of stories that they put up there, McGargle, things like going into ladies' toilets and sitting there waiting for someone to come in, and especially loving it if they heard a woman having their period.
Wow.
And then
Wow. Ugh.
Seriously? Oh, stop, man. No.
I'm sorry, but I mean, look, I'm only saying what I was told. I'm not making this up. I'm just telling you what I've been told.
Women's toilets because they've been getting off on it.
I'm not saying this is endemic within that so-called community. I'm just saying it does happen. It does happen. Listen, you get kind of all weird, crazy shit from all walks of life. It's not one specific group, but to have a blog site where this thing is just like openly discussed, yeah. I mean, this is why I have a problem with the whole LGBT thing. It's so sex-oriented. It's so debauched and very lurid in many ways. I mean, look, I'm not going to sit here and moralize about it. I don't care. Your business. But people need to know.
Yeah.
And I just don't feel that I connect with this. It's you know, I've been around the block, right? I've seen and done a lot of things. Okay, a lot of things I'm not proud of. I know that, but I just don't see it as something that you can sort of package in a box, tie it up in a ribbon, and go, there you go. here's a non-heteronormative form of life, way of life. Off you go, enjoy yourself. But hey, it's just like you'll be dead before you're 40 if you carry on doing what you're doing. You know, really. This is why I don't like the word gay. I think it's infantilizing. I think it's a word that used to mean something really positive and, you know, oh, isn't that gay? What a gay day. All that kind of stuff. Lovely word. And now, to me, it just makes me want to puke. It's like queer. That's a word that has been adopted by people who straight people who have a girlfriend but like wearing nail polish.
That actually kind of annoys me because I remember back in the day, right? It
was a slur.
Kids use that word queer as a slur for people that were
I hated it.
Radicals have embraced it, but it's still a horrible bloody word.
No one fucking asked me. You know, so much for the community. I don't remember the vote.
Times, hail Clobbering Times, the man from Latino Slant. Welcome,
Polly. All right,
he's half Latino, half made of rocks.
Yes. By the way, I should thank Noel for finally representing the rock orange people, which I do. Yeah, finally.
Yeah. We have orange a voice. Lives matter.
Yes, we have a voice. Us orange rock lives, I might add.
Yeah.
Thank you there. But yeah, Paulie, my great friend, I was on with him until 3 hours in the morning last night. He has a great channel, Latino Slant. He's one of us, man. Good guy.
So listen, I just wanted to finish by saying, look, I'm not going to sit here and moralize because fuck knows people on Twitter who do it are the worst because they go, oh, you misogynist, and then go and call this woman a bitch. Listen, I don't have a problem with anybody unless they do something nasty to me or to people that I like or just people who don't deserve this and they think that they have some right to do this to people. No, listen, I understand where a lot of this anger comes from. I understand where this frustration and this kind of nihilism comes from, right? Yeah, I get it. You know, I get it. But for fuck's sake, pull yourselves up. No one's going to do it for you. You think this community is going to be there for you when you fall? Like, fuck. They'll be gone when they find something more interesting to do, like pick their nose or whatever.
No, they'll go on to the next fad. What they'll do.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is a fad. It's because they know they can get away with things, so they push for more. This is what happens when. This is why I'm totally against this whole protected group thing, right? Look, protect individuals, okay, not groups. Groups do not exist. Okay, this is a concept that is. You want to talk about social construct? Well, you're it. You are it. You are not a group. Yeah. Okay, you are not a group. You are an individual, and I know that's a fucking curse word these days. Like someone actually said to my former trans friend that the cult of the individual will be over. Yeah, I like, how do you get a cult of an individual? I'd love to know the answer to that question.
Where?
Resistance is futile.
This is from Twitter, of course.
Do you know what this is? Do you know what this is? These are kids of parents that were on acid, dropping acid and all sorts of drugs. Because
I really don't know.
Being individual, a nasty word. That's what makes us all unique.
There's something going on. There is something
want to take everything that's unique about us and make us all drones. We want us to all be the same, boring human beings. You know what it is? Most of these people are all insecure in their own lives, weak-minded, and miserable. And basically what it is they want to make the rest of us miserable. Well, I'm sorry, ain't happening. And
it's spite. It's sheer spite. It's spite.
Radicalization of this community. It's not even a community. Lee is right. This radicalization of all the, we'll just say community is wrong. It's turning people against.
They've been told all their lives. They've been told all their lives.
So you fear for your future because, you can see that, the public perception because of these radicals, it's starting to change. We already see it. You see it on Twitter all the time as well. Now, I know Twitter is a bubble, but you do see it. It's starting to have a negative impact.
They've been told all their lives that it's someone else's fault.
Yeah.
It's never their fault. Nothing.
No.
It's the system's fault.
Yeah,
define the system. It's the patriarchy's fault. It's those guys' fault. It's the Yahtzees. It's sheer projection. It's a complete fantasy world that they live in. I mean, you can tell by these 78 bloody genders.
Yeah,
listen. Back in the 90s, I used to love a little bit of the old, wink, wink. Gender bending kind of thing, putting on the makeup, new romantics, fucking put the high heels on, makeup and all the rest of it, not a problem. Get a few funny looks in Camden and off you go. Have a great time. It was fun.
But nobody, but
it was fun.
You got a few looks here and there.
And now it's a lifestyle.
Now you probably have, because it's gone backwards. I think it is gone backwards. I think, if I was a gay man living in 20...
It's puritanical. It's like, how can these people claim any moral high ground when they're busy sniffing coke of each other's balls and then, whacking off in the toilets and fucking sniffing each other's arses? I mean, come on. Don't tell people that... It's funny, isn't it? They're the first to say,
I told you.
You can't tell us how to live. You can't tell us how to live. You can't tell us how to live. And then what do they do on Twitter? You can't live that way. You can't live that way. You can't live that way. It's like, one rule for me, one rule for thee.
That's it.
It's religious doctrine. It's by decree.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're waving the holy flag, the rainbow holy flag up in the air, going, hallelujah, it's praise me, praise me.
Yeah.
It's just fuck off, you fucking lunatics. It's insane. It's insipid. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, listen, I was demonetized as soon as I started the stream. I always get demonetized. So it's nothing.
Well, I just assumed you were anyway, so I was just going to let you
listen. As I said, welcome to the Lee Zone. As I thought this was going to happen. How long did you go for there? 20?
Well, look, that woman did not deserve... I mean, what? For not putting fucking pronouns on her profile. Listen, my pronouns on my Twitter profile are fuck off. That's it.
Quite frankly, though, I just want to add this. It's none of their goddamn business anyway. It's none of their business.
Well, this is the postmodernist doctrine that they subscribe to. Everything is political and therefore everything is public. This is what they do not understand. They think that your business is their business.
So if she gets fired, right?
If she gets fired, no one should take that.
Idiots. Wait till you see. If you think the Fandom menace, you think the Fandom. Some people out there think the Fandom menace is just a group of fans that moan all the time. Well, if she gets fired, wait, you see that Fandom Menace rise up and demand that she's reinstated. If
She's
was.
become an icon
Yes.
to the Fandom Menace.
So, at the end of the day, Disney won't sack her because if you look at her profile, she actually hasn't said anything that they have accused her of, which is actually
of course not. She doesn't have
Disney
to.
won't get rid of her, but then
It's by what she doesn't say.
Disney support trans. Well, they have their first trans princess or something. So what you're talking about? Disney
Words are violence, and when that doesn't work, silence is violence. I mean, you can't win. You will never win with these buggers.
But they do because they've obviously made a big deal about the first trans princess, like get away, and then the first Muslim princess or whatever it was a few months back, right?
I don't know about that.
Listen,
I don't
right?
care.
Out there that there's transphobic. They're our most inclusive fucking company out there, right? Just look at their Star Wars, right? They basically took a male character, replaced it with a Super Ray, right? A woman, right? That absolutely had nothing, right, about her, nothing. But she had all of these powers, and she didn't have to train because she didn't have, you know what I mean? So they'll be giving me this, right? Disney is one of the most inclusive fucking companies out there. Disney isn't transphobic. Disney can see this for what this is. A bunch of morons.
Listen.
Because some woman won't put pronouns on her yoke. Listen, I was even criticized for not having Black Lives Matter on my Twitter account. I told that person to go fuck themselves. Don't tell me what to put on my Twitter handle. I'll put whatever I want on my Twitter handle. And listen, do I support Black Lives Matter? Of course I do. I support the concept, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody should be free to do whatever they want. Well, no matter the skin color, religion, whatever it is, right? Nobody should be judged. But I'm not going to put a fucking hashtag that I believe has been used like the trans community, the gay community, lesbian, the LGBTQ plus community, right, are being used by these radicals, right? And that's why I won't support it.
Community.
But the principle of Black Lives Matter, yes, of course I do 100% support that, right? Because, yes, Black lives do matter. They are, at the end of the day, right, there are issues, and we know there are issues. Is it as systematic as they make it out to be? I disagree, and that's just my personal opinion. I'm not saying that's fact. That's my personal opinion. None of us are sitting in our houses and we don't have slaves. So me as a white person, if I'm ever told to take the knee, again, I'll tell you to go fuck yourself.
Your country was slaves for 800 years.
I wouldn't take the knee. I wouldn't even take a knee to the Pope, let alone another person. And by the way, I'm not going to be punished because this is what's happened now. I'm not going to be punished for my skin color because I don't have the right skin color, right? I happen to be born white. Get over it. People happen to be born black. Get over it. People happen to be born white.
Yeah, and isn't it interesting how they changed the rules of what it is to be racist? You know, they changed the rules. It's basically racism plus power. I mean, how can you use racism in the definition for racism for a start? Secondly, what does that even fucking mean? It means basically only white people can be racist. By definition, that is racist. By the true definition of racism. By picking one immutable characteristic of someone's skin color, their race, which is pretty much a fiction anyway, because we're all genus types, right? So, by pitting everyone against one race, just one race, which is not the biggest number race in the world either, by the way, looking at you, China. It just seems remarkable to me that in this day and age, you know, when we should be exploring outer space together in peace and harmony, like we are navel gazing to the point of self-destruction over pointless shite.
We're going to end up destroying ourselves with all of this nonsense. We're getting to a stage. We're just getting. We're getting to a point of no return, as far as I'm concerned. I'm glad there's people like Gina out there, and I said this to Jane.
If they win this world, they wouldn't even know what to do with it.
Transphobic. I said, but it's important that people like you keep coming out against this and don't
I do, and I get banned off of Twitter for it.
The actors and actresses that are doing it now, listen, no matter how much these people come at you, you must stick to what you believe in, because look, you see the reaction on Twitter, and Lee, you obviously have been banned on Twitter, but the reaction after Gina made all of this public and, you know, let everybody know and show.
They make all of us look like fucking idiots.
You should have seen the fandom. You should have seen the fandom, even non-Star Wars fans rallying around her. It's been absolutely wonderful to see the amount of support that she has received from everybody. Yeah. Unfortunately, there are a few dickless men out there that decided to call her out, which I had a problem.
Yeah, they're internalized misogyny.
I actually went after one of them. Joe was his name. I won't say what he said. Ortega. I don't know if he's a journalist or something, but he's a big baby. He's a big baby anyway. So I just turned around and said, listen, like, she isn't homophobic, and take your virtual signal bullshit and put her where the sun don't shine. And maybe while you're at it, get laid too.
Take Rabba's advice.
Yeah, most of these people, but Rabba is right. Most of these people do need to get laid. Maybe if you've got laid, you might have a better outcome. Because I can tell you now, the world is not full of racists. It's not full of radicals either. It's a small minority. And I'm sorry, I'm not buying this whole thing that racism is a systemic thing. It's not. It's not.
It's selective, and it's the media, it's the mainstream media pushing this.
Is there an issue with racism? Clearly there is, because we have seen incidents that haven't been manipulated, of course, but we have seen
all of it's manipulated.
That questions need to be asked.
Anti-science is anti.
Yeah. Here's the problem I'm going to have.
Anti-progressive.
Sort out the racism issue, but the problem that we're going to have is they're going to overcompensate. You see, and they're already doing it. Hollywood now. Wait to see the next couple of years of Hollywood. It's going to be mostly black leads in roles. You're going to get a lot of that. See, this is what Hollywood.
As long as it's made entirely by black people and who have a say over it, rather than a bunch of sanctimonious old white geezers who think they look good at cocktail parties doing it. I agree with Rabbi on that. Go ahead and do that, but do it on your own back. Don't wait for these arseholes to give it to you.
Make sure that these people also, because it doesn't matter who they are or their skin color, you're supposed to be hiring on talent.
Yeah, really.
Your ability to do the job.
Well, it's like I said. If you had a process where you received CVs or resumes in America, and it went through to one person who then photocopies and whites out or blacks out or whatever all the sort of any indicator of their gender, their name, their address, anything that speaks to anything other than their list of qualifications, their likes and dislikes, and their why they're good for the job, and give examples, etc. Apart from all of that stuff, okay, then you put that through, and then you select. I mean, this is like obviously if you're casting like a medieval costume drama, you might want to not do that. But if you're talking about like proper higher jobs, like within a hierarchical structure, do that. You're guaranteed diversity and inclusion that way, because no one will know the color of the skin or the gender of the person they're hiring. They'll hire purely on whether or not they're the right person for the job, regardless.
We need to go back to that. And listen, at the end of the day, we got the announcement by obviously the Oscars that they're not going to allow movies that aren't inclusive,
ridiculous,
and diversified. It's an absolute joke. If you're going to start setting boundaries like that, well, then you're.
It's so cynical. It's so listen. That is anti-art. That is anti-art.
Say that it is anti-art,
because you're defining art by these fucking stupid political arguments, these postmodernist ideals, which are absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's not realistic. It is insipid. it's disingenuous, it's racist, it's sex, it's all of these things. It's funny how they use these things as a cover, but they're really there to disguise everything and to make it a shield to criticism. But what it is it's antithetical to art. It's so cynical, and it's so what's the word? There's a word for it. It basically you're destroying the art form because you're making it matter about things that don't matter rather than the content.
Imagine telling Vincent van Gogh, right, listen, you're a painter, right? We want you to paint the sky, but we're not going to give you the colors that you want. You've got the like it just
and Jesus has to be a Muslim.
Just to ask you on that, I mean, like we are entering, I mean, the Oscars, for example, I mean, to come out and make a statement like that, to me, will damage, I think, Hollywood. I think it will have an effect. I mean, because you're basically saying, unless the movie is all out and clear. So what happens with those, you know, I mean, we're not going to get cult classics anymore. I'm so sorry.
Here's a novel idea. How about judging a film by the talent, by the writing, by the production, by the acting? I know, right?
Well, but Clobbering Times,
revolutionary.
Do you think this is the wrong way to go about it? Do you think the Oscars should reverse their decision? Because I actually do think they should reverse their decision because this be like taking.
It will last a year or two, and then I forget.
You're limited on what you can do. It just wouldn't work. It's like buying a car without an engine. You're not going to.
I mean, what films are there? What films are there anyway this year for the Oscars?
No. I don't know. I haven't looked, but maybe we should check it out. But Clobbering Times, what do you think?
Well, they'd already lost it. They were already losing audience by droves. This will just drive the rest of them away. They've become irrelevant for many, many years now, the Oscars. So, yeah, I don't think they could do much more damage than it, but they certainly are trying, aren't they? It's a ridiculous criteria, and it's going to make them even more of a public joke. And it already is. Yeah. It's absolutely no credibility to these people. And if you can't judge a film, because I was talking about this last night on Buddy Polly's stream. It says, I always thought that the Oscar voting was they would send out ballots of everything out there, and then people would vote on it, and that's how it won now. And someone made the point, well, I guess what they're going to do is only send out ballots for Best Picture nominees for a much smaller list of ones that meet this idiotic criteria.
Yeah.
It means it's not picking the best picture. It's picking the most popular picture that gives more virtue signaling to Academy members, i.e. adults. So,
it's I mean, even that.
But they're overcorrecting for all the mistakes that they made, not us, the audience, but what Hollywood made.
But seriously, in all fairness, what mistakes did they actually make? Because this is the thing. This is the argument that I don't get. Everything that happened in the past was a product of its time. The era.
That's why I said it's an overcorrection.
We're in a time now. We've come so far evolved now in 2020 that none of these things, you know, that we know that things have changed and things have moved on. You think with the other side that hasn't moved on? Of course, we've moved on. We've moved on from decades ago. Decades ago, you couldn't even have a woman present the bleeding sports show. Right now, BBC's decided to sack one after 24 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, look, the world has changed. I don't buy this narrative that women are not getting the roles that they should be getting, or African Americans are not getting the roles that they are not getting. If they were talented enough, right, just like every other actor and actress out there, they would get the part.
Yeah, but when they get the part, all the parts are. Listen, I've been listening to a lot of Big Finish audio recently,
right,
and I've noticed something.
Yeah.
It's always got a woman in charge. It's always got the companions, the newer ones specifically, and Romana. She's really let me down. I tell you.
Oh my God!
All they ever say is. When they get together, like, you know how they're always not supposed to talk about men?
Yeah.
But they still somehow... It's like, oh, God, isn't he stupid? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That man drives me crazy. Oh no, that man. Oh God, that man is so ridiculous. Oh, that man is so stupid. Oh, that man is so.
By the way, just to let you
Fuck
know,
me.
just know women.
It's ridiculous.
Just know that yous are more annoying. I married, right, and I have to be honest. I had more peace.
It's not women that's the problem. It's radical feminists. They're a minority voice with the loudest fucking lungs.
Ramona was such a great character. Ramona was so good.
Now she's a moany hatter.
Listen, all women moan. Women in the chat will agree with me. All women moan.
It's what Tom Baker does.
All men moan. But it's what these radicals, as you said, it's what they're moaning. They're giving a false narrative. They're trying to tell.
But it's always middle-class white women, isn't it?
Slave men and the
middle-aged, middle-class white women.
Evil, dangerous thing. Well, if the patriarchy is so evil and dangerous, we're still here as a society. So I think we've done well.
Well, they certainly made good out of it because they're the ones giving them the jobs, you know.
Right. So at the end, look, all I
those
just
evil men.
If you're the best person for the job, this is where I've always stood on it. You're the best person for the job. It doesn't matter what your gender is, your race is. It doesn't matter what you even identify as. If you're the best person for that role, then you should be given that role. You shouldn't be.
What's it going to be next year? Next year, trans-only Oscars.
Cartoon, all the white actors, voice actors, giving up their jobs to give it to a person of color because they think it's the right thing to do.
It's patronizing.
It's actually the wrong thing to do. See, what you're doing is you're giving people a job that haven't earned it. So where's the pride in those people? You know, when you get a job, it's a great feeling. But once you're there, you want to prove that you've earned your right to have this job.
They cancelled Gone with the Wind.
None of these people.
They cancelled Gone with the Wind. The black actress who was in Gone with the Wind won an Oscar back in those long and far away days.
I know.
And they cancelled that film, and she won a fucking Oscar, and you cancelled it.
Yeah.
Well, they put a disclaimer on it.
Oh well, no, they took it down, didn't they? They took it off the platform.
Put the disclaimer on, but they shouldn't. They didn't have to take it down. But that's where the mistake was. They took it down.
I bet they only put it up because of the backlash. I bet they weren't going to.
They did. They say they did just put it back up after the backlash, but they did put a disclaimer on it. But if you go on to Netflix now, you'll see. You will see
they're curating our brains. They're telling us what to think, what to feel, what we should watch, what we shouldn't watch, how we should behave, what we should say, what we should love. Fuck off! Leave us alone. Let us make our own minds up. We are capable. Well, we don't need to be handheld through our life.
We still are, because they're not getting anywhere. That's why they're causing so much fuss, because there's still resistance out there. Because the rest of the world is not as, they live in a bubble. They think that,
David Rayner's right as well.
They have massive support from the general public out there. No, they don't. No, they actually don't. The general public can't stand you because they can see what you're doing. You're
lunatics.
Destructive. And they don't want any part.
It's easier to destroy than to create.
Clobbering Times, Lee, and everybody in the chat. When we watch TV, we don't want, right, if we want to watch the news and be informed, we watch the news, right? If we want to watch something about, say, gender politics or whatever, we'll watch a show on that. But when we watch Star Wars or Star Trek or Doctor Who, or we watch our famous film franchises like Alien or, all of those, we don't watch them because we're looking for a political message. We don't watch them because, we want you to fight for something. We watch them because they entertain us, because for those 2 hours, we're transported away from real life, the daily struggles. Life isn't easy. We all know that. But for those 2 hours, we're able to get away and escape and become part of that world for those 2 hours. And for 2 hours, especially if you're an adult like me, it transports you back to when you were a kid. And you get that lovely warm feeling inside your stomach, right? But now when we watch our shows, we're watching them and we're told men are horrible, for starters. And then it's like, oh no, you can't have a strong man anymore. Let's have a woman that's strong, but let's do it at the expense of a man. We can't have a woman being strong on her own. She has to do it at the expense of a man.
By acting like a man.
by acting by acting and being written like a man. They don't write female characters strong.
Because being feminine is like not allowed. It's
No,
just not allowed. Unless you're a man, then it's okay.
Because it's like, this is the way I look at it. It's like that student that came up with the man-spreading chair, the anti-man-spreading chair. And you look at that chair, she has the woman sitting like a man with her legs open, and she has the man sitting like a woman with his legs closed. This is exactly what they're trying to do. They're actually trying to role reverse, because even look at the strong female characters that they're supposed to have. If you didn't know any different or knew that that was a woman, you would think that was a strong male character, because, as you said, Lee, they're written like male characters. They're not.
Well, what they want to do is what these radical feminists really love to do, and it's so blatantly obvious. I mean, if anyone's got a pair of eyes at work and can see anything, it's very simple. They see what we like. They think, well, that's like a man's private club. We should go in there and destroy that. It's like, why should they enjoy themselves? Fuck them. I want their shit, and I want their shit, and I want to break their shit.
Listen,
because whammon power. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
They just go, fuck them. I want their shit, and I want to break it if I can't have it, or if I can have it, I still want to break it.
Yeah, but everybody on this panel would agree that we do want strong female-led.
We had them,
right?
Forever.
Yeah,
tons of them.
But we want them the way they were. But that's the point I'm trying to make. We want to make this clear, because there's a lot of people, is that sexist, misogynist? No, we're not.
No, listen, only 7 to 8%
of female leads, but we want them written like strong female leads with all the characteristics and flaws of women.
Yeah, flaws. Remember those? Yeah, it's the only. Flaws are the only thing. You'll only see flaws in men now.
Character. He has his flaws. He's misogynistic. He's
these same people who call this lady on Twitter a bitch and fat and ugly and all the rest of it. These are the same people who will preach all day long about you're a misogynist. Yeah. It's like, look at your Twitter feed, bitch. You're the bitch, okay? Whether you're male or female, if you're behaving like that, you are the bitch, okay? You're somebody's bitch. But 7 to 8% of the world's population, right? I mean, I guess just the Western population will consider themselves feminist. Okay, 7 to 8%. Okay, most women do not identify with this form of existing, right? Like, I don't identify as being anything rather than a pain in the ass me. But I don't understand this need to have your identity handed to you off a peg, like a some prefabbed ideology, and then cling on to that. That doesn't show strength to me. What that shows to me is utter weakness, because you want to conform. That's all this fucking fist waving in the air shit is about. It's about conformity. You are a fucking robot.
Well, fuck them. They'll never conform me or any of us on this panel, so they're going to have a very hard job.
I'll be first up against the wall to be shot, and I don't care, because I'm not going down the way they...
This part of the conversation up. I just want to say to other celebrities out there as well, though, you should take note of what Gina is actually doing out there, and stop being
an example of
what's that you are.
That's a proper, strong, powerful woman, an individualist.
Yeah, but they're harming these celebrities as well that come out with all this rhetoric as well. You guys are harming, doing a lot of harm. Okay, so cop onto yourselves. Be a bit more. Be like Gina. Do you know that? Be like Bob. Be like Gina. That should be the new one. Be like Gina. Don't be a virtual signaling moron.
And do you know how this started? It was that picture she posted on Twitter with the Yahtzee rally.
Oh.
And everyone's doing the Yahtzee salute, and there's one guy with his arms folded because he'd been fucked over because he had a Jewish girlfriend. Yeah, She posted that picture up, and the Twitter crazy people said, "Why are you promoting the Yahtzees? Oh my god, are you a Yahtzee?" Because I don't understand, right? Nuance or history, because they're too busy rewriting it in their narcissistic self-image. But they went after her for that because they didn't understand the message. Because they are the Yahtzees. They are the conformists. They are the militant little shits who will wear uniforms. They will wear black uniforms and go marching down the street and burn books and beat people up like thugs. They are the ones who will do that. She is not the one to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
So asking her to do a Yahtzee salute by putting her pronouns, and if I see people putting their pronouns on their Twitter, is exactly the same thing as doing a Yahtzee salute, in my opinion.
Well, do you know what? We're going to leave it at that with this conversation, because I know Lee could go on for another.
Oh God!
Right, but I do want to
kind of.
No, you're all right. I knew this was going to happen anyway because you haven't been. That's why I
haven't been on leash for a week.
That's why I did say Lee is going to take over for the next hour, which he did. So well done. But actually, Doctor Who related news. So
yeah, I remember that.
I as well put it out there. So somebody has already spoke about it in the chat. I want to get you guys on the panel's opinion. So Bradley Walsh is also to appear at New York Comic Con. Now, someone made the point in the chat. Is it because the other two are not that popular and he is, and they want to boost numbers, or is it likely? Or is it because he has a bit of free time and he's decided to actually do it, even though he's gone? What do you guys think?
Is there really going to be a New York Comic Con?
Yeah, it's virtual, apparently. Virtual, yeah.
Oh, okay, I got you. Virtual.
It's all virtual. It's like the virtual stuff they've been doing. But yeah, he's going to be on the virtual panel. It was only supposed to be Jodie and Manip, but obviously those two are so boring that they probably needed a bit of personality. So they brought in Bradley Walsh because he is a comedian, so he'd make us all laugh. So what do you think, guys? He's happy with Bradley Walsh? Because I suppose this is our way of actually saying goodbye to Bradley Walsh, because there is some.
The only reason anyone will watch that piece of shit
is just to say goodbye to Bradley Walsh. Yeah, because he is one that we did. Now, obviously, he did suffer in Series 12, but let's be honest, that's not Bradley.
They made him a moron.
That's not Bradley Walsh's fault.
While he
was in the role, he knew of Doctor Who. He starred in Sarah Jane Adventure, so he knew about the show, and he went in there and he gave it his best with what he was given. So I've no qualms with him, never have. So will you watch just to say goodbye to him and see what he has to say? Or, well, I'm watching anyway because it'd be a great live stream. So
I'll only watch it if you're watching it. If I'm invited, I'll be there.
They said you're on the panel. Yes, so we're doing it the 8th of October. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so Bradley Walsh. So yeah, how are you all feeling about that in the chat as well on the panel? What do you think, guys?
Yeah.
Poor old Bradley Walsh. I mean, I really like him, but just like everyone else, he's the only bright spot in a horrible, disgusting era of so-called Doctor Who. So
at least he should be funny.
Yeah, he'll be funny. If you're watching it, you'll be the only bright spot in any of that will be him, and it'll be the rest will be pretty boring and dour and staggeringly uninteresting.
Yeah, I mean, what's the Plank going to say about her retrospective time in Doctor Who? How she sat in a cafe and talked a bit, how she sat on the stairs and talked a bit, how she stood in the background with her mouth open, and how she stood in the line and gaped.
I think that suggests that she's actually going to sit down and watch her own series.
Oh, God.
So I would say, okay, but you're not going to like it.
Look, she's so non-existent. Even Jodie Whittaker's Doctor was written in a way that she didn't even know whether she was there or not. So if the Doctor didn't care if she was there or noticed she was there or not, why the fuck should we care? There's a fucking revelation for you.
It'll be funny to see what she has to say, because I'm being honest, listening to her talk about Doctor Who is cringeworthy.
What does she know about Doctor Who?
That's what I mean. And I don't. It makes me uncomfortable listening to her, because you know she's going to come out with something. I wonder what the new Whopper line is going to be for this one, though, because she always has one. The last one, it was little boys or little girls had to cut their hair to look like their favorite doctor. I wonder what Whopper.
Does that mean guys have to bleach their hair and grow it, and then put mascara on?
Oh, she didn't give a crap about us. It's not about us.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot. I'll put myself in my own place.
We're the wrong kind of fan, male.
Yeah.
Well, I'm supposed to be the target audience. Well, I guess not, because I'm too old. But...
No. You see, this is the thing that baffles me.
I'm not intersectional.
Star Wars.
Or intersexy.
Star Wars more, right? Doctor Who more. Those two franchises don't realize that their core audience are basically in their 40s and early 50s. And don't get me wrong, Star Wars appeals. Star Wars does appeal.
We are the Sue Barkers of the fandom.
It does appeal to younger boys now, still to this day. The original trilogy. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is that whether people out there like it or not, and they're not going to like me saying this, and it's the same with Doctor Who. The majority of your fandom is male.
Yep.
And until you start thinking like that again, none of these things are going to be saved. Now, Jon Favreau with The Mandalorian, you can see that he really cares about what he's doing. And you can see that the Force, he's finding his feet, and he always doing the Force. This is why I'll give season 1 a pass. Season 2 now, you'll have to step it up a little bit because, you know, they've had the experience the year behind under their belt. You know, they see where they didn't quite get it right. They'll listen to fan feedback, and then they'll go with season 2. But that's all we want. And that's all we've ever wanted, even in Doctor Who.
I want more episodes like the one where he's got that gang on that prison ship.
Yeah.
that was really good.
Oh, wow.
The one where they're on that planet with the woman and the insufferable kid. Nah, that was dreadful. Like, less of that, more of the other stuff, please. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
But listen, look, Jodie Whittaker, like, all this stuff, you know, the girls want to be like her. No. Because when I was recording my audio drama thing with Black Glove Studio, there's a girl in the cast, right? She must be like 10 or something like that. She was asked, so do you like Jodie Whittaker's daughter? She said, no, not really. She's like a bad David Tennant. It's like yes.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh, she's fantastic.
Brilliant. But see, that's the age group she's supposed to, Jodie Whittaker.
Right? Yeah.
I don't think BBC realised that the gender of the Doctor wasn't the problem with Doctor Who fans or the general public. It was the writing. Moffat's writing had gone very stale. Right?
It was burnt out.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
He spent so much time creating these convoluted plots that he burnt his mind completely because he got completely... Look, half of his stories still don't make sense because he didn't tie up the plots because he was so in the middle of it and he was trying to do that and he was trying to do Sherlock and all the other stuff and doing all these appearances and all the rest of it and spending too much time in Twitter.
He never extended himself, but you know what? By God, would we love to have that back. Those
practically Shakespeare in comparison.
The
good bits.
Doctor Who magazine exclusives from Moffat. Moffat appeared in conventions left, right, and centre.
Chibnall, crickets. Nowhere. It's nowhere to be seen anywhere.
No.
Nowhere at all.
But apparently they've given a lot to this family.
It's like, fuck off. Fuck you. I'm not interested. So why the fuck should we be?
They've given us nothing. And if Jodie Whittaker wanted to win me over, right, for 2 years.
In a funny way about it.
Yeah, exactly. She's had 3 years since she was cast to win me over. And she has done nothing but insult my gender, insult me as a man. And the show...
Insult your intelligence. And
the show also is an insult to...
Look at every TV interview with all the doctors. Like, I challenge everyone, especially you in the chat, right? Go after this stream, go and look on YouTube and look at any TV interview with any of the doctors, right? All of them. as many as you can find, and then listen to her. Right? Every single doctor, every single actor who played the Doctor throughout history were well spoken, articulate, didn't say stupid bloody things. This person, right? Jodie Whittaker person, right? She can't even string a fucking sentence together. She's incoherent. No. She says daft shit. And it's embarrassing. I feel bad for her
all the time. But it's not just ridiculous. It's all the time she says something. It's like she is incapable. She is incapable of not being there just to talk about Doctor Who. There has to be some sort of agenda behind what she's saying.
She doesn't care. She doesn't care about this show.
Listen, she never cared.
She never even heard of it.
She never cared about the show. As I said, this was a stepping stone for her. This is, by the way, the biggest show of her career, biggest job of her career. And if I was to test her on it, if I was to give her a mark, she would be definitely getting an F-. She's being that bad. She's not the Doctor. Even after 2 years, she's still not the Doctor. She hasn't convinced everybody.
Not a single defining moment.
The people that she's convinced are the people that will defend her blindly. And even I suspect that they even know she's not really.
Oh, they're only doing it because out of spite, like everything else.
Out of spite to boil us up because we have such a problem with her. Do you know what? I'd actually have more respect for you if he actually came out and actually called out the bullshit that was happening with the show. Then maybe we could all get a show that we all enjoy.
It's funny when you get them on their own in private. They do admit to all number of things that they find annoying with the show. It is really funny, but they don't do it publicly. So, I'll just put that out there because, listen, guys, you're talking shit,
I don't blame them because there is a bit of a mob mentality out there.
It is. Conformity.
Remember, we had a couple of people on here that didn't like us. We brought them on, and then one of them was on saying, oh, Noel is actually not that bad. And because he said Noel wasn't that bad, of course, he took down the tweet because he ended up getting abuse.
Yeah,
so exactly. Even when some people do come out to defend me and say no isn't all the things that people are no
listen, half the people are like, I'm just generalizing here, but I'm gonna stick my neck out here and say at least half the people who are vehemently supporting this era are doing so because they want to be accepted in their group. Because if they didn't do it, they would be ousted. They would be sent to Coventry. They would be bullied on. They would be dogpiled. The whole works. And like these people are unhinged. If they go after people like I can never remember her name. Sorry. But if they go after someone like that or J.K. Rowling or whatever, not even saying the things that they're accusing them of, but they lose their fucking mind. And everything that they accuse that person of, they then do to that person what they accuse that person of. You bitch, all these other things, like shaming that person. That's all it is. It's a Maoist struggle session. It's like Maoist, Marxist form of control. You shame people publicly as much as possible, en masse. And if you can't get your way, you mass block them or mass report them like they did to me and then get them suspended because out of spite, because they can't win the argument, because there is no argument, because they're wrong, right? But they're never, ever going to admit it because their feelings are more important and they're feeling their sense of superiority, because this is, you want to talk about supremacist movements, they are it. Exactly. They are it. They use sarcasm and shaming people and calling people names and using sock puppet accounts to go after them, say terrible things to people that they would never say to anyone in front of their face, and say things worse than anything any of us could ever fucking say in the worst way possible, and target people for disabilities and all the rest of it, but get away with it because they're anonymous.
Yeah, and I'm going to put Clobbering Times' channel in the chat, by the way. So if you haven't subscribed to Clobbering Times' channel,
you're too kind. Thank you.
Me and Clobbering Time will be talking Blake 7.
while we're on, Daniel, if you could throw it up every, say, 5 minutes or so.
You're too kind, Noel. Thank you.
No, we do it all the time.
I'm sorry I didn't give you enough platform time.
No, yeah, I know. Yeah, shut up for a minute. We're trying to get a word in as well, and I can't.
Listen, I'm banned off Twitter. I've got a vent.
No, I know you need a release, but wait for a minute, man. Take it. Great. Right, because I've been told that he's dying because of all the smoking. Check out Cop's latest video. Apparently, he's third in the SJWs because of Gina. It'll be a good video, actually. I love when he goes after the SJW.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I have to be honest. I do love those videos, and I wish he'd do a lot more of them, because I know he does the news and all that other stuff, but he should be. I would love him to do this, because he's
well, this is where he should have been in the start. It's all well and good going after the big fish like Disney and all the rest of it. But, hey, this is a grassroots thing. You got problems at the grassroots.
This is where the fight actually is. It's not with Disney or big companies. It's actually with these people on our level.
Yeah. Not white knighting. This is like the serious shit that people go through on a day-to-day basis that he's so oblivious to.
Daniel's put your channel up again. If you haven't subscribed to his channel, though, Clobbering Times, please do so.
Thank you.
I know he hasn't had much of a time to chat, but we will. We've got a few more minutes, so we'll let Clobbering Times take the lead on this one, Lee.
On Doctor Who in general, or what's going on with Jodie or Gina? Where do we start? Gina or Jodie?
It's up to yourself. Go ahead. Whatever. Knock yourself out. If you've got nothing to add, actually, or you want to bring up something that we're not talking about, then we'll go ahead.
No, I have something. I'm going to be ranting as much as Lee did tomorrow night on a show I'm doing about the current Marvel MCU casting that just came down. Not so much about the casting in particular, but it's a geek thing there. But on the Jodie thing, it's all been said. You all said it very well, and the Gina thing. With I have an unpopular opinion about modern Doctor Who, to be honest with you. As much as I hate the two horrible Jodie seasons, it's not Doctor Who to me. I think if this had not happened, that those 2 seasons had not happened, and the Capaldi era was the end of it, I would have been one of those very angry with Stephen Moffat, because I love the Capaldi as an actor, and I thought he never did him justice with bad stories. He never wrote him well. Yeah. And I would be angry with him. And I'm not glad for what happened with the past 2 years, but it puts those to shame.
I wrote an open letter on Facebook about that. You know, I think it was Into the Dalek or something. It drove me over the edge.
Defend Moffat here. Can I just defend Moffat for a second? Because I have been Moffat's biggest critic on this channel. Clobbering Times, everything you have said, I've agreed with in the past, until I heard what was happening. Because BBC had a bit of a swipe at Moffat. Was it last year, Lee, or the year before? But he had a swipe at him over his writing or something. I think it was with Doctor Who, or so. People were giving about Dracula or something like that. But he came out and he had a swipe. He had a swipe at the BBC, because they tried to make out that he inserted all of this crap into his era, the bad, the punching of the racist and all of the wokeness that start creeping into Capaldi's era. That was actually all down to the BBC, and he was forced to put it actually in.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, as I said many times, it's a common purpose.
The fact that his writing in some parts was very bad, I do agree with you. But compared to, you're right, Clobbering Time, compared to the last 2 years, it makes Peter Capaldi's era look sensational. Now, Peter Capaldi's era is flawed. It's not bad. It's not great either. But season 10 is my favourite season, though. Season 10, his fourth season and his last season for me, Peter Capaldi.
Here's a theory for you. Maybe he stayed on the.
You're not allowed to talk.
Well, wait. Maybe he stayed on as long as he did,
right,
to hold off Chibnall getting the job for as long as he could possibly manage.
Chibnall's in the bloody job. He got Chibnall drunk. He tells the story in an article. He told the story. They were having a Christmas a drink.
Moffat lies.
He does do that, yeah.
He said that they were all sitting at a table.
He must have been fucking drunk.
This is what I'm going to tell you. You know, I'll put the video back up again if I can find it. So basically what happened was he kept filling Chibnall with drink, and they kept saying to him during the night, "You're taking over after me." And he kept saying, no, right? Because he didn't want to take over, because the reason why is because he was told if he did take over,
he can't write for shit.
Start off with a Christmas special, right? See, this is what people don't know, right? Or it's very little known out there, right? I know you know because you've been on the channel, Lee. But Twice Upon a Time shouldn't exist, right?
Yes.
It shouldn't even be here. The only reason why Twice Upon a Time even exists, and he brought back the Fourth Doctor and belittled him, was for the simple fact of the matter is because Chris Chibnall couldn't be arsed to start off his era with a Christmas special with Jodie Whittaker. So even then, he wasn't confident in the choices that he had made. So they had to get him drunk for him to take the job. Now, this is the same guy that they gave the job.
Moffat must be the one drunk.
Down a few years prior when he was offered the job. When Russell T first left, Stephen Moffat wasn't the first choice, believe it or not. It was actually Chris Chibnall, but he turned it down. And obviously then they gave it to Moffat because Moffat had the most popular Doctor Who stories within the RTD era, which is fact. Standalone stories on Moffat in the RTD era are fucking sensational. Brilliant, right? But he wasn't even supposed to get the job. It was supposed to be Chris Chibnall, but he turned it down. So why would then, again, after Moffat does leave, you would offer the same person the job?
It would have been Piers Wenger saying, he's got the job, you tell him.
That he didn't want the job, because then that person will go in there. Could you really trust that person then after turning it down and bringing this show?
I wouldn't have trusted him from the stories he wrote during the RTD and Moffat era anyway.
Yeah, I know. And we're going to be coming up in 2 weeks' time when we start back with the watch-alongs. We're going to, pretty soon, we're going to get it run into one of Moffat's stories. Stories. And I'm not even looking forward to already. I'm already getting up. Seriously, but clobbering times, go ahead. I know, Lee, you want to jump in there.
No, I'm just going to clarify that.
To be quiet, to know that this is a running joke between me and Lee. When I tell him to quiet, I
got you. And I love talking to Lee. He's the man. He's great.
I know he is. Lee, having Lee on, he's brilliant.
I just want to clarify that I was actually not really in that what I was talking earlier was not really referring to him, the woke stuff that he did actually put in the show. I was simply saying from a fan standpoint of nearly 40 years, that whole era, I'm very upset with him for wasting, because I love Peter Capaldi as an actor. I was so excited. Yeah. To me, that whole era is a waste. I thought he was. I hate the way he wrote the character. Capaldi did his best. I can't name you one story that I like very much at all. Even if it was a couple were okay, but I despise the whole run. And I remember I did preface with it. It's an unpopular opinion.
They should have stuck with the spiky.
So you
spiky Capaldi.
You haven't you don't like the Moffat era whatsoever.
No, I like some of the Matt Smith stuff. I put it to you like this: much like I do with Star Trek. For me, Star Trek is 1966 to 2005. Everything else, I've in my own personal headcanon as a fan of decades. I discredit all the rest. With Doctor Who, I'm 1963 to 2013. To me, Day of the Doctor, maybe Time of the Doctor, ends it for me. And I've decided, yes, I watched every bit of it, even the horrible chibi crap.
You end at the 50th.
I am with the 50th for me as a fan. Just I close it there. To me, the character died, and I love Capaldi as an actor, but he was so distastefully written for me. I think if you don't include some of the, even if he's a bit grumpy, if you don't accuse some of the likability and the nudge, nudge, wink, wink silliness of the Doctor in it, and you make him completely nasty, and make him Malcolm Tucker in the TARDIS, I don't like it. And to me, I
would have preferred the Malcolm Tucker in the TARDIS.
I hated that. I hated it.
Yeah, in the fourth season, they definitely did do that. But in
the whole run was.
I liked him when he was more Pertwee-esque.
I think in the second season there was a genuine attempt to tone down his grumpiness, but it was
agree
too
with
late.
that.
But it was too late. It was too
Yeah,
late. And remember as well, though, Clobbering Times, they had replaced Matt Smith with Peter Capaldi as well. So already the show, ratings-wise, was always going to take a hit because obviously the fangirl were you know, they'd be devastated.
Yes.
They had two younger doctors, and then all of a sudden then we had this old guy to them, this old guy coming in and taking already lost some fans there, and it did because it reflected in the ratings. But I do agree with you to a certain extent because I've watched the pilot episode of William Hartnell's where he was harsh, and I actually prefer that version than the version that we got, but I still love the version that we got. But I prefer a darker doctor. I would love to see a darker doctor. So when they did that for Peter Capaldi's fourth season, believe it or not, I actually did like it because I wanted to see that dark side of the doctor because we know it does exist, you know.
I was a bit too fed up with the cheeky, chirpy, chappy kind of thing. Yeah, I wanted to see something a bit more gravitas and a bit more older and wiser.
Sometimes is rightly, you have to get the balance right. And
there has to be some likability, in my opinion. You still, at the end of the day, need to think the doctor will have your back. He's going to be grumpy. I love what Patrick Troughton really introduced that into the character that ran almost completely through all of the incarnations.
Yeah.
Even Colin Baker, after a while, after his nutty era and nutty beginning, all of it was still, even when he would get grumpy and immediately from deep breath on, Capaldi was nasty. He was condescending, and then Day of the Dalek, and then Into the Dalek, and another Day of the Daleks. Right? Day of the Daleks is Pertwee. I just thought he was written like a nasty SOB, and he was condescending, and then the puppy dog stuff with Clara didn't help.
Yeah, that did my head in.
The Coal Hill
the whole Clara thing.
Really,
Clara. Yeah, well, see,
Clara and Danny Pink.
Danny Pink. None of which is Peter Capaldi's fault, by the way. None of it's his fault.
No, it's not. No. And that's the thing. His greatest story in the Moffat era, for me personally, is Heaven Sent. I actually think that's up there as one of the greatest. It's up there with Genesis. It's up there with Inferno. It's up, even Pyramids of Mars I'd put in there because I have a soft spot for that. But Heaven Sent, it's just Peter Capaldi as the Doctor after losing a companion, right? And he's in that maze thing, and it keeps changing and shit. His performance in that, right? If you haven't watched, I don't know if you watched Heaven Sent, Clobbering Times.
I watched them all, man, and I didn't like that one. But a lot of people, I'm in the minority. A lot of people did love it, but I didn't like that one. But I hear
you didn't like it? Okay. All right.
Well, I'm being unfair in the sense that I watched it the one time, and isn't that the one where he kills Rassilon and the star? Or that was the next episode.
No, that's the next. We avoid the next episode.
The next one you're right. That was a very interesting episode. I take it back. I'm sorry, but I hated after that. Oh, good God! The one that was the last Clara one, maybe one of the worst things I've ever seen.
No, I hate that one. She gets her own bleeding TARDIS as well. And he even says, Clara who? Fuck off, Moffat.
Yes, Moffat.
I was just waiting on Moffat to put the Clara who titles up.
Oh, my God. That jackass.
I cannot stand Moffat in certain things that he done. But I'm compared to Chris Chibnall now.
No, I'll take him back right now.
Chibnall, he's nothing. Chris Chibnall is Thanos of Doctor Who.
Yes. I'll take him back, right? I'll take Moffat.
I think that's giving him too much credit.
Yeah,
I think he killed Doctor Who a lot quicker than a finger clip.
He deserves the credit, and I'll tell you why. He killed Doctor Who's lore in a 2-minute scene.
That's what I'm saying. He did it.
Star
quicker
Wars,
than Thanos could ever kill anything.
The whole franchise. Even with Star Trek, it took a couple of shows. He took 2 minutes to kill a franchise. Stephen Moffat, Chris Chibnall is the Thanos of all. Did you know what? Star Wars want to finish off Star Wars. Give Chris Chibnall a ring. If you want to finish off the Terminator, well, you've already killed
I think they're doing all right by themselves. They've already got their franchise.
All those other franchises out there, SJWs. The man for the job is Chris Chibnall.
And they all wear glasses. It's like a weird glasses nerd.
I know,
cult.
it's like a cult.
I'm gonna stop wearing glasses.
Just
now.
saying. Just saying.
The cult of spectacles.
Maybe they're the same person. You never see them in the same room together.
Here, David Rayner said it best. Hellbent is the worst episode ever, and it is. It is. That is actually by far, and we have some paranoid.
Oh, I don't know. There's a plenty of Capaldi stories that rank with, like, I think worse. Into the Dalek was so cringe, and
this was worse for the simple fact he shot the general, and the general back up. It turns out to be a black lady. And then she came out with that stupid line about how she was male all this time or something.
But Riverson was doing that back in the Smith days. You know, like, you're thinking, you're a man, stop it. You know, that kind of stuff.
Kill the Moon's pretty bad, too.
Oh, God.
Awful.
Oh, God.
That was a good concept, purely.
Although, like, compared with Orphan,
54.
whatever it is, 58, Heinz Variety. Whatever.
No, listen. I've even said this, right? And maybe we should do this on this channel just to prove a point, because I actually think we would.
Praxeus.
Why not get Peter Capaldi's so-called worst episodes and compare them, and we'll
to Jodie's best,
and we'll actually against Jodie Whittaker's best.
How'd you define what the best one is when they're so bad? Like the one that wasn't so terrible.
I could pick up best episodes off one hand.
Is it the Diodati one?
Who Fell to Earth, the very first episode was actually good. I'm not going to lie. It was. It
started off all right. It just
started off all right, and then it got a bit crazy, right? So we'll give that one, right?
Should have ended there when they died in space or something.
Kerblam. Yeah.
No, that boring.
I know, but right until the end of that episode, that's where that was ruined. But that's what
it's tedious.
Right, something half decent, but then he ruins it by the end, right? So I'm just saying, I'm just giving you my opinion. You can change them, you can say different. I think Spyfall Part 1 was in Series 12 was actually good for Series 12. It was when it got to Spyfall Part 2. And
I've had an upgrade.
Yeah, right. That's where it went. So that's 3, right? So then you have the Timeless Children up until that scene. Okay, and you've got the Haunting of Didi Viadati.
That's the one that I've heard most people say was the good one.
Yeah, and the only reason,
I haven't seen that one, so I can't say.
Because they take the piss out of Graham and that whole story. Graham is
there's a surprise. Like every other episode of season 12, right?
But they're the episodes, right? So they're the episodes, and Rosa is in there. That's considered as one of the best.
Boring.
So that's 6, right? So you have 6 there that you could say that are decent. But even me, with me harsh critic, none of them are good enough, in my opinion. Right?
No, they're not even good television. Let alone Doctor Who.
Compare them to Peter Capaldi's worst. Let's see.
You're right. Yeah.
Forest of the Night.
Yeah, that Robin Hood.
Right.
I like the Robin Hood one, actually. I didn't mind that one.
That wasn't too bad.
Right? So that's supposed to be one of his worst episodes. So is that any worse than any of the ones that we mentioned just there?
No way.
One good thing about all those bad episodes?
They've got Peter Capaldi in it.
Besides that, they stop people from bad mouthing Time and the Ronnie finally. Because
that's true.
That's a masterpiece. Actually, I'm a weirdo that doesn't even hate that episode. I'm just saying people hate on it so much.
Even Twin Dilemma is and Time Slip are masterclasses in comparison. Listen, the writing's actually really good in Time Slip.
Twin Dilemma. Colin Baker's really good in that, though. It's a good performance.
Yeah. You know what, though, Covering Times.
And he's the Doctor in it.
We do the classic. Yeah. We do classic.
Remember the Doctor?
Alongs here. We're starting them back up in 2 weeks' time. We do them every Saturday. If you're available on Saturdays, you can come in with us. If you don't have the episode,
I have them all.
Oh, well, then you can join us then if you want. If you're up for it,
it's my choice.
And it says, what's your episode again? What are we doing again?
Planet of Evil.
Oh, yeah, it's Planet of Evil next.
I love that episode. A lot of people don't. I love it.
I like that one too. Look, the reason I chose it is because it's one of the Tom Baker stories that I remember watching it and liking, but it's one of those that I haven't watched in a while. I know it's not the best, but it's one that I would like to revisit again.
good because at the ending, it has some very interesting things that they kind of glossed over later that lead to some mystery things about the Doctor that they don't ever go back to, about the Doctor's not really his past so much, but at the end he says we're not without influence in the universe, and it was because some interesting lines. Never mind, but yeah.
It's also kind of reminiscent as well a bit of the Forbidden Planet. It's got that kind of feel to it. Which
one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, look, as I said, the invite is there. We won't be back for another 2 weeks, but I'll send you the link, and if you're available, you can join, because
I would be honored, sir.
No problem, because we do Classic Who every Saturday, and then Sunday we do New Who. But we're on season 3, or series 3 of New Who now. David Tennant's. We start that in 2 weeks as well. But yeah, I'd love to have you on for the Classic.
Oh man, that would be great.
I have someone that's a fan with us.
Love it.
And we've also got someone that's watching with us for the first time that hasn't seen many of the classics as well. And it'd just be great listening to their reaction, because genuinely, Charlotte, every time, the excitement. And that's the excitement I had when I was watching Doctor Who for the first time.
It's infectious.
It is, isn't it? It's very infectious, and it really does put. I'm glad she's joined, because it really has. But to know that someone out there is experiencing this maybe for the first time, and a story for the first time, I remember that feeling. And
yes,
we had that.
I was 4 years old.
4 years ago, yeah, but we haven't had that feeling in 4 years. In your case, Clobbering Times, it's been a little bit longer.
Yes,
had that feeling, but for me, it's been 4 years, because Heaven Sent did send me.
I'll be honest with you, Noel. Like when Doctor Who came back, I had all these expectations. You know, this hangover from the many years of waiting for it to come back, and remembering how it was, and it didn't look like Doctor Who to me, and I was like waiting, and I thought I'll keep watching it until it feels right, and I kept watching it and even to this day, like, you know, I mean, apart from the rewatches we've been doing, I have enjoyed them. I've reviewed and revised them in a new way, but at the time, you know, I was like, I want my Doctor Who back. You know, I want the white console room. I want the thing. That, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, it's little things like that. You know, the way the stories were written, serialized, and you know, I loved all that. I think it's so sad. I think we sold out to the American audience a bit too much, and I think it became too heavily influenced by that.
This American agrees with you.
True to itself.
This American,
a lot of Americans do. Yeah. I think
totally.
there's nothing wrong in saying that.
Yeah,
but it lost its identity.
I'm Irish, and I even say it. We shouldn't have an Irish doctor or even an American doctor. It's a British role. It should be played by a person from Britain, because it's a British institution.
Yes.
And, you know, it is.
The Queen watches it.
Star
Trek is for everybody, but Doctor Who is British.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, it is. It's true.
And Star Trek for me ended in 1967.
Well, I did watch Next Generation, but I'm actually, now that you bring up Trek, I'm actually watching the original series. I'm actually on the last couple of episodes now, I think, of the second season, and then I go into the final season. I'm like, you know what? It's been, as I said, it's been a while. I was a teenager when I last watched this, if I'm honest, because I did carry on watch the other Trek shows, obviously Next Generation. Unpopular opinion here, but I'm a huge Voyager fan. I know it had a lot of filler episodes, as people would say, but their real standout stories are.
I didn't like much 90s TV, even at the time.
Absolutely on par with the classic era. I'm telling you. I mean, there's one particular story Shattered, where the ship is shattered into different time periods, and it's just their time traveling episodes. Actually, the Voyager ones are brilliant. Future's End Part 1 and 2. You had the relativity episode as well. As I said, Shattered. and you had the one where the ship actually gets back from the Delta Quadrant, but it crash lands in this planet, and Chakotay and Kim are the only two survivors. But
it was called Timeless. Yeah,
Timeless. Were cracking story. The two-parter did let me down. I have to be honest. It was a bit of a cop-out.
Year of Hell? The Year of Hell?
Yeah. Year of Hell Part 1 and 2, that should have been a whole season.
Yeah, it was... Yeah, sometimes just like Best of Both Worlds is great, but it should have been more episodes.
I think Year of Hell would have worked better, would have worked well as a serious arc.
Agreed.
But
there were some good Voyagers, though.
Yeah. I might go. Listen, I had the ship and all. I bought the ship and everything, and then it got like everything else.
The Jerry Goldsmith theme is brilliant.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, that's probably the best thing about it.
I tend to agree. It's my least favorite of the series.
I always will, even though the lead is a bit of a dick now.
What Noel needs in his life really is some Blake 7. Really?
Oh, you're still going on about that. Listen,
it's on Netflix now. Not Netflix.
Hang on now, because you have mentioned it, and Cheryl was even saying it to me. It is something that we're actually going to watch. We're just going to watch the rest of the stuff that we've lined up first, but we're getting around to Blake 7 because we finished The Mandalorian, as I said, and we had that on our list. We finally got around to it. I'm glad I waited actually until all the crap died down about it. Because if I had to just listen to people's reviews and not actually watched it myself, I can understand why some the real diehard Star Wars fans have some issues with it. I'm not going to slag them for that. They're entitled to their opinion. They're Star Wars fans. They know everything about the franchise. So if they see something they don't like, I can understand it. But me, as a casual viewer, not a Star Wars fan, I enjoy the only properties of Disney since they took over Star Wars that I've enjoyed are, controversially, I thought Rogue One, and I still say this, I think Rogue One is the best Disney Star Wars movie that they actually have produced, and it's a movie that we didn't even need. I think the rest are awful, to be honest. Even Force Awakens, I think the Force Awakens, yes, they did play it safe. At the time, I could understand why, but I've watched it a few times since. There's no excuse. The source material was there for decades. There was no way that you couldn't. You mean to tell me that you couldn't come up with a new movie for the fourth movie by yourselves? Get away. But in saying that, look at what Rian Johnson did. It was probably lucky that they went down the safe route with the first movie, because if they had done that for the first movie, we wouldn't have watched the second movie. So yeah, Rogue One is that, and The Mandalorian are the only two things Disney have done decent enough with Star Wars. I'm not saying it's brilliant, because it'll never be up to the standards that Star Wars fans expect. But here's the thing: will The Mandalorian be damaged because of the fact of all the controversy around the movies? Unfortunately, I think it will. I don't think it's going to get the fans that it deserves, because I do believe that there should be more people watching this. But right now, Star Wars fans are going through what we're going through. They're going through a bit of mourning, a bit of a divorce.
It's because the normies have been turned away. And this is exactly what we see in all the other franchises, especially Doctor Who and everything else. Once you lose the mainstream audience, it's hard to get them back. They've moved on. They've moved on. They moved on to The Boys. They're watching The Boys. They're watching The Umbrella Academy.
Yeah.
They're watching all of these other shows, which are new. They're exciting. They've got things going on. It's building up a new thing. It's the new Game of Thrones. Everyone's looking for the next Game of Thrones to latch onto, the next big thing. So they're not looking backwards. They're looking forwards. Whether or not it's going to be the same quality that we've had previously, or not, that's another issue. But people are very kind of tired. They're also very used to now not going to the cinema, so they're I mean, Netflix was winning this whole streaming thing until recently.
It calms down, don't be rushing to the cinema. I'm in no rush to go to a cinema. Be sure that you are showing is crap.
I'm much happier watching something at home, and it's
exactly.
cheaper.
I'd rather stream or watch something on one of the streaming services than go and watch a movie now.
Damn right.
Yeah.
It's really comfortable. I can lay in bed and watch a movie or a TV show. What's not to like?
It would really have to be something that I love for me to even contemplate going to the cinema now. I mean, most of the movies the last few decades, well, I say the last 20 years for me have been pretty poor. We have had new gems, but you look at the majority of the movies. I mean, you go out to streaming sites and you look at movies for the last 2 years and look at the type of movies they've been making. That they're poor quality. Even actors they expect to be in big movies like
I think the 70s, 80s, and early 90s.
They're doing all these low budget movies, and I think I know the reason why is because these actors and actresses don't subscribe to all of this rubbish. So this is the only kind of work that they're going to get, because all the exclusive work, all the big major franchises are for all these actors and actresses that fall in line with whatever political agenda or whatever their identity politics or whatever the agenda is follow. Right, these other actors don't. I mean, Nicolas Cage. I've seen Nicolas Cage in a low budget movie. I never thought I'd see the day that I'd see Nicolas Cage in a low budget fucking movie. Now I know he did in the start of his career.
He's done loads.
But hang on, no. I disagree with that. You had Snake Eyes, 9mm. You had Face Off.
He was one on, one off.
National Treasure. No, I don't think so.
It's always one good movie followed by one bad movie followed by one good movie followed by one bad. It's become a trope now.
He's not a Nicolas Cage fan, as you can hear.
He's all right. I mean, he can do some good. Thank God he wasn't Superman. That's all I can say.
No, I disagree.
Yes, but you should watch the documentary about.
Yeah, I have watched. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Someone mentioned in the chat. It was. Crikey. Where have you gone? Stop moving, Terence Kent. Yeah, he said Battlestar Galactica. Now that was a bloody good show. Love that. It's funny he brought that up because I was listening to Critical Drinker and Doomcock talking about it, and it really brought back all those wonderful memories of really great TV. I mean, it was Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones came along. It was that good. And it's what The Expanse is kind of living to be like, really. That was a quality standard set.
I'm being told that I should check out The Expanse again. It's on my list.
That's brilliant.
I get
season 4
of TV shows, and these are some of these TV shows I look at, and I'm looking at the poster of them, and I'm kind of like one of these people. I don't know if there's any of you out there, but if the poster or the artwork or whatever it is that they're providing or showing me doesn't appeal to me, well then I will dismiss that show. Now I know I shouldn't because of a poster or whatever, but normally I do that. Now I done that one time before when I seen the posters of Misfits, and when this show was big at the time and everybody was watching, I was saying, it's just a bunch of teenagers, it's going to be a load of crap, right? And I didn't like the poster. I said, people in orange jumpsuits. I saw, that's ridiculous, right? But then a few years after, right, the 4th season had dropped, I sat down one night and the brother said to me, you have to watch Misfits. I'm not watching that crap. This was the attitude. I sat down and I watched it. I watched the first 3 seasons that night.
Yeah, I love it when you get a show like that, and then you feel really shitty after a few days. You watched it all, it's all gone. You're like, I love those people.
Would I have gotten attached to the characters the way I am now? I don't think so.
Heroes was good. Utopia was good.
Yeah, Utopia wasn't too bad. Yeah. I did like that one, the Steven Spielberg one that they only did 1 season of. Terra Nova.
What was it?
Yeah, Terra Nova. The one about.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was, wasn't it? And I wouldn't even mind. They were going to do a 2nd season, but then like production costs went through because this was a huge thing. But it was supposed to be a show about the dinosaurs, and it didn't really feature.
No. Oh, Vanessa Law asked where she can watch Battlestar Galactica. I don't know if you've got Sky, but I know that they're repeating it, and you can download it onto your Sky box if you've got Sky. I know that much, but otherwise, it's not on any other streaming service unless you go to Amazon and pay for it.
No, but which Battlestar Galactica are we talking about?
The remake, not the 70s, 80s one.
Well, I do know they're showing the remake on British television, so I'm pretty sure they're showing that on E4. So if they're showing that on E4, then there's an app called...
I think BBC iPlayer might have it because it's on BBC. They're repeating on BBC. Yeah. But I mean...
BBC, yeah.
That's if you still have your BBC.
That's what I mean, but BBC, yeah. But BBC iPlayer are already taking steps, as you can see. And Daniel made the point the other day, and we'll finish up on this one. But you can already see the BBC is starting to move into the whole...
Well, they've got fuck all to show because they can't make anything new, so they have to show.
Don't Battlestar Galactica. But I wanted to ask someone that does actually have Sky iPlayer, because in the Republic, they're racist against us, right? Up the north, we can get it, but as soon as you come down to the south, we can't get BBC iPlayer.
Just get a VPN.
So I wanted that. Yeah, I'm not gonna. No, listen, man, you're talking to me.
Get Cheryl to do it, or the dog.
I've created a VPN. I've used the VPN, but I don't know what a VPN does.
Just do it. No, then you can watch it.
Right.
Do what the Americans do. They just go VPN. Do you live in the UK? Yes.
I want to ask you about something that have BBC iPlayer. Are they showing Doctor Who on the iPlayer? And if they are, what seasons are they actually showing?
Oh, they'll only have the new. Well, I think it'll only be the new Who.
What?
No, I mean like from Eccleston onwards. I think because they've got the classic stuff. They're getting extra money out of. It's funny, isn't it? All the new Who stuff is available for free on the iPlayer, but the old stuff, the classic stuff, you have to pay for that. It's crazy. Yeah. So there you go, classic Who sells. That's why they put it on BritBox. You have to pay a subscription.
And yourself made the point. Even though this show since 2005 is called Doctor Who, if we were to be really purists about it, we would actually say that this isn't Doctor Who. This is a new version. Let's say this is the version of Doctor Who for
the version.
This did for
an version.
Yeah, it's a version, but it's not a bad version. Up until we got to obviously at the end of the era and the start of the Chris Chibnall era.
You like that one, didn't you?
Other than that, this is why I kind of try to be a little bit more optimistic. We've got all the past, right? And even if you don't like 2005 Doctor Who, you still have all that classic past, right? And it's never going to be taken away from you. So, you'll always have that to fall back on. But I do hope there is a day that we can get back to at least the RTD era mentality. Doctor Who, the way they ran it, that they actually cared, and the stories that they were writing, and that the showrunners and the people involved in the show were open with the fans and embraced the fandom and were everything that we expect them to be, to behave around the fan. Jodie Whittaker has never equipped herself well with this side of the fandom. With any side of the fandom, actually. I mean, during the lockdown, she's done 2 videos. Right? During the lockdown, she's done 2 videos.
That's 3 videos too many.
Right. She has, obviously, the Christmas special coming up. Now, they've decided to wheel her out for New York Comic Con. Right? But I guarantee you, after that Comic Con, you're not going to see Whittaker again. She's going to go back into her cave, just like Chibnall has. Right? This is the problem that I've always had with Whittaker. It's the biggest issue with her. She could have done everything in her power to try win me over. Even if I didn't like the writing, I wouldn't be coming down on Jodie Whittaker as hard as I do. But the fact that she has actually come out with stupid statements, slagged the fans off actually within the first couple of weeks as well, doing that stylist video. I don't know how she thought that was advisable. And as I said, if I was our PR team or if I was Jodie Whittaker, I would have sacked them because she didn't help with some of the comments that she came out with. And then to top it all off, we had the glass ceiling little video where she goes, whoops, that finished it all off. So you lost all your fandom even there before the show even started. Now, she did get a good bounce on the first episode because people were curious.
Like, people love to see a car crash, you know.
But to be honest with you, when it came to the time for the Doctor Who speech, right, I can tell you what my reaction was. I was sitting there staring at the telly, and I'm not messing. I was literally getting chest pains watching this. I'm not messing. I literally seized up. I was so angry, right? The speech itself was weak in itself. But when she said, I am the Doctor, I was like, no, you're not.
No,
you're not. You're not the Doctor. You have not even earned it yet. Don't call yourself that. You're not the Doctor. What? You're the Doctor? This is what the Doctor's got. No. Pete, listen. Peter Capaldi, first episode, convinced me. Matt Smith, 11th hour, convinced me. David Tennant, I will admit, Christmas Invasion, by the end of it, I was won over, but still, even when I went into his fourth season, I was still a bit cautious. But even with him, we'll say the first. Christopher Eccleston, first episode. The very first William Hartnell episode that I watched, his very first one, I was sucked in. Patrick Troughton, the first Patrick Troughton episode that I ever watched, sucked in. Same with Pertwee. Pertwee is actually fast becoming my favorite era of all time, believe it or not, even over Tom Baker. And that's controversial in itself. That's why I have to watch Tom Baker's era again, because I'm nearly finished Pertwee's era, and I don't know what it is, but there's just something about that era that just keeps making me want. I watch his era more than
even. They don't call it the golden age for nothing.
Yeah, I think Pertwee. No, sorry, that's disrespectful to Troughton, and it's actually disrespectful to Hartnell. Hartnell, Troughton.
No, I'm just talking that was when it took off. You know,
that's the golden era.
No, the golden. I mean, it's called the golden. Pertwee and Baker's era were called the golden era because they were pulling in 16 to 18 million people.
Right. Well, okay. Fair enough. You are why but I don't.
It was in colour. It was, it was because I mean, after Troughton, it's obviously no disrespect to the wonderful work of Hartnell and Troughton. I mean, obviously, but they were close to axing the show, and they even the first season of Pertwee's story, first season was probably going to get cancelled. Yeah, but it didn't, because it did well. It did really well.
And it did well. But unfortunately, Whittaker is going to continue to nosedive, and BBC won't make it. Well, we'll see if they make it. There's still rumblings going. But again, as I said, and I just want to finish up, and then I'll let the lads do their shout outs and all of that. And we'll get you on again, Clobbering Times, as I said, before the watch alongs as well, because, me and Lee do have a habit of
I don't know what you're talking about now.
Lee on in a few weeks.
So, I don't know what you're talking about.
It's fun.
I have no idea what you're talking about now.
But, Lee loves the vent a lot, like myself.
I have no idea what you're saying.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah.
I really don't understand what you're saying.
What was I going to say? What was it? I was going to leave.
I don't know, Noel.
Whittaker, yeah. So
you're slandering me, Noel.
This is what I've got to say. Shut up, Lee. Right.
What did I do? What did I do?
Be quiet. I'm trying.
What did I say?
Right, he's sacked. You won't see. He's sacked. I'm only messing. Right, listen.
I don't know what you're saying.
I know you don't. And if you keep saying that, you will. Right, listen. He's going to say something now. Listen, see, I keep hesitating now because I think he's going to say something.
I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, sure. Right. So the Whittaker rumours, obviously, and the season postponement rumours are obviously not going.
I'll just sack her for fuck's sake.
Well, I'm just going to say this, right?
And that chump Chibnall.
I was going through my YouTube channel last night and I'd forgotten that I'd put up a video from Hugh Fullerton earlier on. It was a few months back, right? So this is, and the reason why I bring this up is because he came out with an article recently to say that Doctor Who, and again, he's repeated that in the Sue Barker article. No, not Sue, but did he?
Well, if they can sack her, they can sack
anyway,
her as well.
Here's the point. Anyway, he turned around and said that maybe the future of Doctor Who was to go the animation route, right?
Oh, that won't really work for Star Trek.
No, but this is why I'm bringing it up. This was the guy that said that Series 13 could possibly be animated, and this is the guy that people are actually believing that the series is going into production soon. Don't listen to Hugh, right? Hugh is a shill anyway,
Hugh
and a moron, right? Look at these articles, right? He has nothing but disdain for the classic era.
Oh, he's brown. His tongue is so brown.
Yeah, he's a brown noser, as they call it, right? So don't be listening to him, right? So he's the guy that's saying that this show is going into, is about to go into production, right?
His mouth smells of chippings farts.
I'm listening on the news today where cases in the UK, Spain and France increased in one day, the biggest increase in cases in one day. Listen, whether the series is going into pre-production or not, I don't care, right? What I've been trying to tell people from the start, and I've been actually criticized for saying this, because I have said nobody knows, right? Apparently I'm not allowed to say that. Nobody knows whether the series is going into production or not going into production, because you as a moron and you would know, right? Because there's conflicting reports. So Hugh came out and said that the show is going into production, but then the Mirror newspaper, one of the biggest newspapers in the UK, comes out. By the way, they've been spot on with their Doctor Who information. So anybody slating the Mirror out there because they're a sister paper of the Sun, don't, because they've been spot on with their Doctor Who rumor. Now they're saying that Doctor Who is actually postponed and there's no way that they're going to be able to film. Now I'd rather believe the Mirror's article over Hugh's article, but I'm going to say this to you. Don't even listen to them, because nobody knows, right? So until BBC actually come out with an official statement to say when Doctor Who is actually coming back, don't listen to you. Don't listen to the Mirror. Well, listen to them if you want to, but what I'm saying is don't take their word as 100% gospel, because there are people out there saying that they definitely know that this show is going. No, you don't. No, you don't. Just because newspapers are saying it, right? You don't know, right? I've got source information. There's other YouTubers that have source information. Their sources are saying, obviously, other YouTubers out there, that the show is about to go into production. My sources are saying that. The newspapers are saying the same thing. Nobody knows. Not even.
Well, bearing in mind that the BBC isn't one monolith. Okay, the BBC is made up of multiple different arms. So one source might be working, let's say, for example, in Cardiff, where they're going to have a particular point of view and they're going to be told a particular set of things. Another source might be from BBC Studio, who's going to have a completely different, who's going to be told something completely different, or have a completely different set of beliefs.
And that's what I tried to say. That's why I've been saying all along, because apparently I could make enemies if I keep it up, because I'm disrespecting the YouTubers out there that have been doing it for years by saying that they don't know. You don't know. And I'm sorry, I'm not being disrespectful. You don't know. So the claim that you do. And did I not get pulled up on this last year when I first started doing this? I made a few mistakes along the way, and I was basically saying that my source information was 100%. And didn't I get burned? And wasn't I told that this wasn't the way to be done? That you don't say that things are for certain because you don't know. And now that I'm actually saying it this year that I don't know, I'm being criticized and told I could make enemies because I'm telling people don't be. Listen to whatever article comes out. But what I'm trying to say to people is nobody knows. When BBC make that announcement, that's when we'll all know, right? So YouTubers like me and others out there can speculate all we want. We can get all the news off these sources all we want. We don't know that we're putting it out there that it's 100% accurate or even true, right? At the end, Lee is right. We do know from me covering it on this channel that there has been problems behind the production of this show during Series 11, and it carried on into Series 12. So there's a clear indication that there is infighting going on, and there are different factions fighting over this show. There's a civil war happening behind the scenes right now. You've got Chibnall's people, you've got BBC Studio, you've got BBC Wales, and then if my information is true that I was given a few months back, you've also got Moffat in the mix there, and you've got RTD in the mix there also involved in that. Apparently, the Tardis Children has upset so many people that have worked on the show in the past, that have produced the show in the past, that this is gonna get escalate. This is why I'm telling you, even if they were, because Lee will tell you this, they're already filming in Wales right now. Yep. There's another studio actually filming in Wales.
Canal Studios filming War of the Worlds, season 2. Not the atrocious BBC version.
It's a better version. I know.
Yeah, but it's okay. It's all right.
Yeah, it's
but
better.
They're managing it. So I mean, they're following the procedures. So there's they're following
the story. They didn't change it to become woke like the BBC did. Exactly. Because I watched the BBC version. It's fucking horrible.
It's not War of the Worlds.
The gender swapped the main role just to, I don't know why. And then the mother was flawed. She was she was with a married man and all of this, and the man was a dickless.
It's all about slut shaming.
Yeah, he was a dickless asshole, and his wife gives him a clap across the face and basically tells him she's going to take him to the cleaners and all. So he was a dickless man. He wasn't even a proper man.
And so he died.
And then he dies. Yeah, and then she has the baby, and then the world is all shitty and stuff. Yeah, like there was some parts of it that were good. The start of it was interesting.
It really wasn't.
Before that, the start of it was. You be quiet, you're just so.
No, I mean, the effects were good at the start. The tripods were good, but the rest of it was
give a credit.
Listen, hey, speaking of War of the Worlds, life may have been discovered on Venus, so fuck it. I'm off. I'm going to Venus. Bye. Chibnall can suck my ass. I'm going out.
I'll take the 1953 George Powell Wars of the Worlds film.
Yeah, I think we'd all take that version over a new version, to be quite honest with you. But
it's a bit too hot over there at the moment.
Right. Well, I think we will finish up because, do you know what? I thought I was being smart, right? So we did this stream and I thought, well, the other video is ready now, so I'll schedule the video because by the time we schedule it and finish up, and Lee went on for an hour rant. So the video was already
premiered. Don't know what you're talking about.
So the video was already premiered, right? So it's already up on the channel.
Hey, you invite someone who's sleep deprived on your channel and wonder why they start gassing all the time. I mean, it's your own fault, really. Yeah.
Well, I won't make that same mistake again.
Well, there you go then. Don't blame me.
I'm going to make sure you had at least got 8 hours fucking
8
sleep.
weeks.
8 weeks sleep. Yeah, I'm going to say 8 weeks sleep because you even do. This man's a robot. He never sleeps. He's like me.
I really don't understand what you're saying.
You can ask us if we're actually cyborg. Well, can't tell you that. Right. We are finished. Listen, we could go on all night about all the stuff we've been going on about. We talked about, obviously, Gina. And do support her. If you are on Twitter, show her a bit of support. Check out my video as well. Share it around. Now, listen, as I said, I did because it's YouTube. If this was my world, Noel's world, people like them that go after her would have their names splashed all over the place. They'd be on billboards, the whole lot. They'd be exposed, right? They'd be cancelled, right? That's they're the people. See this cancel culture? This is where cancel culture needs to be used against these people that go after actresses like Gina. That's when cancel culture should be.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing that, these people were quick off the mark when it came to Sacha Dhawan, which is all well and good. Do not disagree with that. But hey, when it comes to someone like Gina, who's on the wrong side of things, it's amazing how the rules suddenly don't apply and they don't give a shit. It's and as I said at the start, I don't want to hear another fucking word from any one of these people about misogyny ever again. Ever again.
Exactly.
Fuck off.
They're disgusting, vile, and yeah. And Sue Barker, obviously, I mentioned, sacked after 24 years for diving. Go and check out my article and video on that, because people will say, well, what are you talking about? Well, they've gotten Jermaine Genius and Alex Scott, who seems to be right. Anybody watch football in the UK will know that most of the pundits that used to be on Match of the Day and all of these shows were mostly men. Now, over the last few years, I've noticed a few women creeping in. They've even had women commentating on the game.
They've always had.
They're doing that down here a lot.
But listen, I don't mind that if they know what they're talking about. And generally, the BBC do get it right with their pundits, right? I'm not going to lie. Generally, they do get it right. But I just can't get my head around this second, because, you know, they're all about diversity and inclusion. And one of their biggest main...
Unless you're old, then you can fuck off.
But one of their biggest main things is get more women in high-ranking positions within the BBC. But yet they're sacking one. They're sacking one.
Well, maybe she become chair of the BBC. You never know.
Second one in favour of diversity and inclusion, and she is at a certain age. So to me, because Andrew Neil was also fired, and he's an older guy.
Maybe she voted Tory and she got out.
There's a bit of ageism going on with the BBC, but that's another long list of all the other crimes that they're accused of. Remember, this is the same organisation that covered up the systemic paedophilia that was going on within that organisation. If people want to know why the BBC are in the situation that they're in, look no further to the Jimmy Savile case, because that's where it all started. Because when that all came out, BBC left themselves open to be criticised, because it showed
overcorrection again in another example.
Had covered. So BBC are trying to show the public that they've changed, and that Lee is right. Now what's happening is they're overcompensating, and this is what Hollywood's going to do in the next 2 years now with all of this rubbish that's going on. That's why I say, if there's issues that need to be sorted out, the people that have the power and the people that are disgruntled, please sit down and get it all sorted, because this radical...
Do you know why this is going on?
Keeps throwing it out there and keeps adding fuel to the fire. We need to stop these people once and for all.
Do you know why it's going? Do you know how it's gotten like this? How it's run away with itself? Like, I'll tell you, it's very simple. Once you got, I mean, these crazy people, they may be crazy, but they're fucking hella organized. So they make money very easily, because of they manage to whip people up and the media's on their side. What they do is they go into places and say, hey, I want a job. I want to train you in diversity and inclusion or trans issues or whatever, or LGBT. And they'll be like, no, thank you. No, you don't understand. If you don't pay me £80,000 for this session, I'm going to set Twitter onto you, and I'll have your business closed down for being istophobes.
Yeah, and then
plus, I've got pictures of you from the internet that you sent to someone I know. By the way, wink, wink. 80 grand, please. Thank you very much. We'll see you next Tuesday. And then
I'll be like, right, great. Go on, release it all on Twitter. It was like a few months back when that certain account accused me of all this. I says, okay, if I did what you claimed that I did, show the evidence. Show the evidence. I don't give a flying fuck anymore. Show the evidence. If you have evidence, show it, because it didn't happen. And this is what does happen. I don't want to get into a big because I want to actually finish up. But I will say this. I have noticed, though, and we noticed that with Angry Joe, some woman comes out and makes allegations against Angry Joe. She provides not a shred of evidence, and then people try to cancel Angry Joe. This is another problem that we're having as well. There's a lot of people going out there talking shit about people and making these false claims and never provide evidence. And the thing is that the one thing that annoys me is there's never any consequences for those people. The person that actually accused Angry Joe is still on Twitter, still has her account, still has her YouTube channel. Nothing was done. She could have cancelled that man ruined his livelihood, and she probably has damaged him a little bit. Because remember, once you're accused of something like that, it doesn't matter if you're innocent.
Yeah.
It's going to stick like super glue, and there's going to be always some people that will believe it. Look at I don't want to drag on, but look at Conor McGregor. Apparently, he's been arrested in France for sexual assault. But again, the reason why he keeps getting accused of all of this sexual assault is because of the very first allegation, which turned out to be false anyway. But because you've been accused of that in the past, it doesn't matter whether you're innocent or not. If you're accused of it again, people are automatically going to say, well, is there something in it? Now, in this Conor McGregor thing, I don't know. It's starting to look, everywhere he seems to go, there's something happening. The last few months he was quiet, and now all of a sudden he's being accused of this. I will wait until I see all the evidence.
Well, look at Ezra Miller.
Conor McGregor to fuck off now and just.
Ezra Miller pushes and strangles like a pregnant woman on the floor, and then you've got what's her face who shits the bed, saying Johnny Depp did all this to me while she shit the bed and broke his finger or whatever.
Yeah,
bit off his finger.
She's
and yet they don't get fired from Hollywood. Johnny Depp gets accused, no evidence, and he loses his entire fucking fortune.
He lost his livelihood. He was.
I'm spotting a pattern here.
Yeah, listen. This is the thing. Women, and no offense to the women that are in this chat, because I know that you are all highly intelligent and don't subscribe to all of this other nonsense that's going on. But I will say that the women that do, the likes of Brie Larson and stuff, and a Heather, wherever her name is, a severed finger lady. But those two ladies, right? You know what their problem is, right? Right, you can see it, right? You can just look at them because it comes off them. They're insecure. They've been told no too many times, because
I don't think they've been told no enough.
No. This is the thing, they have, but they haven't taken rejection well because they're a woman. Amber Heard, but I'm going to call her the severed finger lady. The woman, we'll just call her.
The woman who shat too much.
You just call her ropey fingers. So ropey fingers and the other Captain Plank. They're insecure, but look at their performances. They're very insecure women. They've been told no, but they think that they're so talented that they believe that they were wronged when they were told no. Because their ego, because see, when they grew up at a time where they were given everything. Even look at Brie Larson's childhood. She was given everything at a very early age, and then she was her mother and father basically paid for her pop career. So she was given anything that she ever wanted. So she wasn't used to hearing the word no. So then when she decided to actually become an actress and start going for those early interviews and was told no, a lot of resentment grew. Started to grow inside her because she wasn't used to being told no, because she was told yes in our normal life. So she thought when she then become an adult and she start doing these things that it come easy and that she's talented enough. But the problem is she's a dumb plank, just like Amber Heard. They're not actually talented at all. They think they are, but they're not, because they've been told that they are all the time. But when a push comes to the shove and these casting directors actually see them, I mean, we all know she put on that Jedi Knight robe and she held that lightsaber up because she wanted a role in Star Wars. And then it turns out that she actually was torn down. She was actually torn down. So she's not good enough. So she was torn down because she's not good enough. It's like
because she's a mouthy cow who just can't shut up about
a video game with her boyfriend, but
white males and
at a video game. Apparently, she threw him out of a dimension. Right now, that goes to show. Right now, I'm not saying that's true. That could have been made up. But if that is true, that shows our character trait. That shows what our character actually is. This woman just doesn't like being told no. And if she is told no, she makes it out it's sexist. She makes it out it's because she's a woman and she has a vagina. No, it's not. It's because you're shit actress, love. You're shit. Captain Marvel was a pile of crap. Barbie tears. And the rhetoric that she came out with as well before the movie. no white dude's going to tell me not to, he's not going to review my movie. Well, sorry, love, that is your fandom, you plank. And now she's worried, apparently.
Isn't it interesting, though?
Marvel too now. She's worried about that, whether she's going to be the central plot character because they're bringing in another female. And she's worried that she might be overshadowed. Well, I hope you are. I hope the actress that they have brought isn't actually a prat like you. And actually,
Captain Marvel, the female Captain Marvel should have been black anyway. I mean, if you come by, listen, you know, it's easy for these crazy wominists to decry. Yeah, I call them wominists. I also call them femme creme supreme. Like, because they're like white female supremacists. Because they are
wominists. We'll leave that wominists. That's better.
Okay, wominists. So they always decry the male ego as like the worst thing on the planet. It's so toxic. Okay, like that's what their thing is. The white male ego. I'm sorry. When was the last time you heard a man ever say, "I can change him"?
Exactly.
That is the most egotistical thing ever. Okay, look. That to me, that there is no bigger ego than someone who reckons I can change.
I know.
I mean, that's crazy.
Again, we went on for another 22nd minute there, and I was saying goodnight. But we are going to say goodnight. So what I'm going to do is, well, Lee doesn't have a channel, but and he's not on Twitter, so he's only on Facebook. So
no, I'm not on Facebook. I'm on Parler.
Oh, he's on Parler, and he does, as he says himself, whore himself out to any streaming.
I am a
slut.
So
he's a slut, and he'll come on your stream if you're looking for a guest. So if there's anybody out there that has a YouTube channel that would like Lee on as a guest, now I will give you a warning: if you bring him on, you're not going to get a word in edgeways, but that's good then because it gives you the night off.
It's only because it's Noel's channel.
Yeah. By the way, Lee knows I'm taking the piss.
I don't know what you're saying,
Lee knows that I love him.
No idea.
Talk because it stops me from talking. But Clobbering Times, I do know that you have your social medias, and I do know you have your YouTube channel. So if you'd like to give it your stuff a shout out, and if you have any upcoming streams that you'd like to let everybody aware of, go ahead, pal.
Well, certainly. Thank you so much. Tomorrow night I'll be doing an open talk with him. Got some new news coming out. Actually, this past Saturday I was on the Great Loki channel on a 12-hour stream about the DC fandom. So I'll be doing a little recap on that. And, of course, the newest MCU casting. And then our good friend, the Great Problem Being, will be on with me. Thursday we'll be talking. It'll be our second time to hang out talking about the great show that Noel should watch, Blake 7. And everybody's all over Noel today. I'm just kidding. And
you whored yourself out to him already. Oh,
hey, you got to move fast in this game, honey.
I'm insulted.
The bills don't pay themselves. Lay the money on the table. Let's talk.
I did not know he didn't check with you. No, man.
I'm really joking, but go ahead, Clark.
Saturday night, I believe I will be doing a show with the great Mark C. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he is a good friend of a lot of the different streams about the history of Flash Gordon, who's, the film, the 1980 film with Sam Jones is a classic, and it's the 40th anniversary of that. But we're going to go delve deeper because the character's almost 90 years old. So we're going to talk about the history of the comic strips, and I'm a bit of a historian on that a little bit, and we're going to talk about that.
Did you ever read Dan Dare?
Say again? I love Dan Dare. I have a lot of the reprints. I have a lot. I love a lot of the British comics that those are based on.
Eagle.
Yep, the Dan Dare, the Eagle. Right. So, always geek stuff with me. But what can you do? Comics, Doctor Who, Star Trek.
That's what we're here for. That's what they want us for. They love the geekiness.
This is what we should be talking about, not these crazy wackos on Twitter.
Exactly, as they say, geek is the new sexy. So
there you go. I love talking some Who, and I cannot thank you enough. No, I'm so honored to be here, and I love talking Doctor Who. I've loved it for nearly 40 years, and I miss the days when the worst problem I had was bitching about the 1996 Fox pilot with Paul McGann, which I did. Even though
we all did. We all
so
did.
much better now, but I bitched and moaned about that.
I know. And you know what? One day, look at
Justice for Sylvester.
Hopefully one day BBC. I hope it's not too late for them though. But if they were to make a decision anytime soon, then I have optimism for the future.
Just sack them for crying out loud. Just for God's sake, do it, BBC.
It's BBC, because I know people from the BBC do watch this. They do, because they've had problems with me streams. I've even been told that I've upset a few people. But if there is anybody from the BBC watching, all I will say is the longer you drag this on, the more damage you're doing. Listen, if you announce Whittaker go now, I guarantee you the festive special won't do as bad as it's going to do, because people will tune in to see her go. But you have to announce it.
I'll throw extra shrimp on the Barbie.
Now, if you don't, and she continues the Christmas special, and then somehow you do, by some miracle, get Series 13 out, there's going to be no fandom to come back to for Series 14. You won't make it to the 60th anniversary. You won't. And I'm telling you this now. You won't, because the fandom will make sure that you don't. We've had enough of this nonsense now. We've had 3 years since Jodie Whittaker is cast. We are officially done. The Timeless Children destroyed everything we love about Doctor Who. It disrespected the very man, William Hartnell, that first put that wig on, the jacket on, and those silly trousers, and put that silly smile on his face, and the grumpiness, everything. I'm nearly getting, I'm getting upset again, because the Timeless Children and I know there's some people out there, Noel, you should, pretend that it doesn't exist. Unfortunately, it's not that easy for me. It's not, and it never has.
Even if you pretend it doesn't exist, you're still without real Doctor Who throughout this time.
This is the thing, though. If I pretend it doesn't exist, it's still in my head that it exists. It's still there. It's still going to be on DVD.
Yes.
It's still going to be on Blu-ray. It's still there. It's still going to be in front. So it's not going to go, unless they retcon it. If they retcon it, then they might get rid of the copies, or they might leave them with people. But they have to do something right. I'm going to go, because the mic's going to hit me with a frying pan.
Clobbering Time sounds like Sam Kinison, according to Alpha Omega.
I love Sam Kinison. Thank you. I've never had that before.
Well, listen, Clobbering Times, I'll tell you what, right? I know I said, because we are taking a bit of a break from the panels for the next 2 weeks with the Who ones, we'll do another panel on Wednesday. For the simple fact is, we're not going to be doing them after the new Who comes back. I'll be doing more videos, but I will be getting those videos out as well. I did throw one up while we were streaming. Go and check it out, and check out last night's videos. Check out Clobbering Times channel as well. And if you're looking for Lee to do any work for your channel, check out himself. I'm sure, well, listen, he's whoring himself out everywhere. I don't even know who he's whoring himself out there.
Hey, honey.
Listen, I'll be watching YouTube one day, and Lee will pop up on the channel that I never expect him to pop up on. That's what Lee But, I thought I was his only exclusive friend, but it turns out that he's...
Hey, listen, I'm very picky.
But it's great to see Lee getting out there. And if you do like what Lee has to say, because, listen, Lee is probably... he's one of the most intelligent people that I know in the streaming community. He has his ear to the ground. He talks about common purpose. He talks about what they're, he gives us information that we don't know, because he has his ear to the ground, and he works within
a number of years
in the industry for years, so he knows the way it is. So, yeah, listen, he is a good guest to have on your channel. I would highly recommend, but I would add the caveat that if you do have him on, you're going to have a night off. So, if you want a night off, and to, just hand it over to Lee for one night, and trust me, you'll get the viewers anyway. But Clobbering Times...
I run them ragged.
Yeah, that's it. Anything else you would like to add before we leave it at that?
Well, No, I'll be on.
Your name is not Clobbering Times, Lee.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna big up Clobbering Times' channel, actually. No.
Oh, yeah. You're gonna blow smoke up his ass, and he's gonna blow.
Well, mainly because I'm gonna be on it on Thursday. No, but it is a great channel.
I'll let you go on because you normally do plug a channel. So, Lee, whose channel would you like to plug this week?
Well, it's Clobbering Times, isn't it? It's got to be.
Thank you.
There you go. Everyone subscribe to.
It's been an honor.
Listen, it's been a pleasure. I've actually had fun tonight. These last few streams, actually, I've been saying it all week, but I don't know what it is. But the last couple of weeks, I've really enjoyed myself on this channel. It's been a while. I think it's because I'm not taking the rubbish on Twitter too seriously anymore. And I'm just running with it and taking the piss.
I miss it. I do.
So I've just been, I feel more relaxed because sure I got a message off Matrix Lord when all the rubbish was going on with the trolls because he started picking on me again last night. And he actually texted me because Matrix Lord will, if he sees that, and he texted me to see if I was all right. And as I said to him, I'm actually absolutely brilliant, mate. I'm fine. This doesn't bother me anymore. I just retweet their tweets or write something just to wind them up because I know they'll reply back to me. Listen, I had someone, no, it's blocked people. Can you show me what he's wrote up? They're dying to see. See, this is the thing. That's not my doctor.
Rent free in their heads.
They'll say I have an ego, but I know that's not my doctor account that exists because of me. They don't like me. They focus mostly on me. By the way, I didn't notice.
They're a hate group. No,
they did
they're
say,
a hate group.
Yeah, but they did say, they did make one point that some of their tweets weren't reaching the audience. But I didn't notice as soon as you mentioned my name, the retweets go through the roof and the love goes through the roof. So, they don't want the other people. So just focus on me, and I'll tell you what, I'll even throw in a few videos there so you can get the views up and make a few quid from me as well. I mean, if you're going to abuse me, I might as well make a few quid.
As Oscar Wilde once said, it's better to be talked about than not be talked about. And the more they talk about you, the more attention they draw to you, and the more followers you get.
I got another boost in subscribers there over the weekend, so I'm very pleased with that. I think that was down to Gary, though, with the shout out again. So thank you, Gary from Neurotics. Again,
Gary.
Bigger YouTubers have supported. I'm a small, lonely channel. Bigger YouTubers have given me the opportunity to get here. Shut up,
little violin.
So that's when anybody else comes onto my channel, I make it a point to give them the opportunity to blow smoke up their own asses, because for the simple fact of the matter is I was given a lot of help, and I don't hide away from the fact some people think that's, some people actually use that against me as if it's some sort of shame that I get help off others that have more experience than me in this community. Like, I'm only a baby in this community compared to the rest of them. I'm only 2 years doing this kind of thing. I've been on the platform a few years doing other stuff, not talking, but this is not my third year now, talking on these streams. So I'm still a baby. I'm still learning. Actually, someone, just before we leave, because I thought it was funny, because they thought you were insulting me. Someone says, can I ask you a question? I says, yeah, knock yourself out. Why is your editing so shit? Why does it look so amateurish? Well, maybe because I am an amateur.
No, you're the spitting image of yourself.
I know. And with that, folks, we are going to say good night. Chris, thank you. He's in the chat. He's our main mod, but Daniel is also in the chat as well. He's been.
He remembered you, Daniel.
Yes, I did.
He remembered you. Fuck.
And all the other moderators. I think Super John was in there earlier as well. I think he's still a mod. I know I did get rid of one of his other, because he said he set up an account and then it was blocked, but then he's back to the, I don't know, I got confused. If I blocked the right one, let me know. If you're not moderator, let me know and I'll fix that again. But thank you to all my moderators and everybody in the chat. I've really thank you. It looks like a lot of you enjoy that anyway, so that's good. That's what. Listen, once you enjoy these streams, I'm happy. The day that you don't enjoy these streams is the day that I give up, because there's no point of going on if I'm not Yeah, without you guys, I wouldn't exist, basically. We need your support. That's why it's important that you support all these other YouTubers out there. They're putting out great content. My content is not great. I know it's not. It's amateurish because I am an amateur. It'll get better as I get on. And I think from 3 years ago to now, I've probably have improved. Probably not as much as people would like, I suppose. Someone did ask me, am I a good presenter? No, because I'm not a presenter, you idiots. I don't claim to be a presenter. I don't claim to be a host. I don't claim to be this. I'm a normal...
Listen, anyone who's that slick is not really... Look, it's honest. It's, that's your integrity.
Listen, I did this because I had a passion. I seen something that I love being destroyed, and I felt like I couldn't stay silent anymore. And I didn't think being on Twitter or Facebook was doing enough. I needed to get my voice out there. And thankfully, there's lots more people out there that seem to agree with me and other YouTubers. So go and check out all the channels. Please support us because, we need you guys, and it's YouTube has become the new TV of people's households, believe it or not. People would rather sit down and listen to live streams than actually watch TV. And my content will get better, and I think it has, to be quite honest. These people, look, they thought that was an insult. I don't care. I know I'm an amateur. Listen, I don't even know how to fucking copy and paste properly. Bro, I don't care. I've built up a successful YouTube channel, and yes, I am going to say it's successful because it is. I've built it up, and I've had help, and I'm no shame in that either, and I'll help whoever wants help. And that's the way I've always been, and I'm not going to change. So, Clobbering Times, thank you for coming on.
Yes, sir,
and
like
I said, Wednesday, I'm going to be on again. So if you're around Wednesday, let me know. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll text you first and see if you're around. And if you're available, then I'll let you know when the stream is actually happening, and then you'll be able to tell me if you can join or not, because I'd love to have you on again.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I will be here.
No problem. Thank you. And Lee, as always, mate, you do me head in sometimes, but I love you.
Really don't know what you're talking about.
But seriously, I do, man. You've done but this man, no, because Lee's gotten banned off Twitter because he's defended me, banned off Twitter because he defends William Shatner. This guy, if he thinks you're being wronged, he'll always have
I'm a social justice warrior.
Yeah, so, but all I'll just say, I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass, but Lee is a good friend to have, and he's always had me back. So, seriously, as always, it's a pleasure having you on. And, yeah, I love it. Now you can shut up.
I don't know what you mean.
Yeah. Right, well, where we go?
I really don't know.
Because I'm going to,
no idea.
I'm going to have a big, I'm going to tell him off now as soon as we finish up.
No idea.
Yeah. He'll be gone. He's going to go running.
No idea.
Right, folks. Good night in the chat. Chris, Daniel, and everybody else, thank you very much for all the support. And guys, you in the panel, thank you. And I have been your host. Well, I've been your guide, I suppose, because Lee did all the talking tonight. Right. Good night.
What did he say?
No, I said I've been your host, but no, being really a guide because Lee's been doing all the talking tonight.
What? I don't know what you mean.
Oh, he's doing this thing that
No.
I know what you mean. Get away. Gosh, you do.
No.
Right. Say good night to everybody, Lee. Say good night to everybody.
Oh, good night, everybody.
Clobbering Times.
Good night, everybody. May all your times be clobbering.
And I say good night to you all, but I can't stand you all, so go away now. Oh, it would have
Great outro.
Thank you all.
Very well done.